And we're back.
We sure
Bibbidi
are.
bobbidi boopy.
I am so Pavloved on Friday to y'all saying celebrity names that I was half expecting it.
I mean, I can start if you'd really. If
I'm not
get those things
asking.
going in here.
I'm not
They have been
asking for
conditioned.
that. I'm certainly not asking for that.
I mean,
just
if you
realized.
really want.
No, I'm good. I had that realization while we were sitting there where I was just half expecting it. That's where my brain went, and it went, shoot, this is the wrong game.
Robert Pattinson.
there
Patrick
it is.
Swayze.
How long were you sitting on that one, Zan?
I just had to wait for a good beat.
Yeah. Like Zan ever doesn't have something on lock.
Right. But yeah, we're here for another Sunday fun day, full of spoops and drama. Shall we go ahead and get started around the horn? I'm gonna take that silence as a yes.
Nose goes.
Nose goes.
Nose goes.
All right.
Theme song, always.
Hey, what's poppin', chat? It's me, Xanos Grimm. Back at you with another intro. You can catch me tomorrow, twitch.tv/theunexpectables, 6 p.m. PST, for some more Lofting of Ravens. So if you like Domains of Dread content, we got more there for you. Then Tuesday, twitch.tv/Distortion Devil at 1 p.m. PST. We have some more Vecna Eve of Ruin. Keep it on the spooky train. If you want some more spooky stuff, we're about to enter a giant robot thing. Cool. Then Thursday, twitch.tv/Monteglue, 7 p.m. PST. We have some more Dungeon of the Mad Mage, really high level D&D content. And if that's not enough for you, twitch.tv/Distortion Devil again at 3:30 p.m. PST. We have some more Cazador's Guide to the Cosmos. Again, high level content. D&D, a few of our voices in call. More of that. Then Saturday, twitch.tv/theunexpectables again at 6 p.m. PST for some more Cyberpunk All Saints Die. We are in a predicament, that's for certain. So if you want to see what else I'm up to, check my Blue Skies Nano's Crim. That's me. I'm gonna throw the skull. No, I'm gonna gently bequeath the skull to one Skeleton Alpha.
Oh, thank you. I hold it and cherish it. Hi, I'm Scaly Alpha. I can be found under the same names on Twitch and Blue Sky. Most all of my other tabletop games personally have wrapped up, so until I find more games to play in, I'm mostly just going to be binging Vintage Story and Minecraft over on my end. Except for on Thursdays, which I run a Paper Mario D&D setting game in the afternoon starting at about 6 or 7 Eastern, should you be interested in that. Schedule may change a little bit the following week as I'm looking to start a playthrough with more of my spare time doing a Silent Hill 2 remake run with a friend or two. And that's really it for me for now. I will pass it over to Kaz.
Hi, I'm Kaz. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Kaz_because. I'm deep in Con Crunch and a little bit delusional, but that's okay. Am I on the internet right now? I don't know, maybe. That's about it. I really don't have anything to share. I'm just in panic mode. So I'm gonna dribble her skull and do a little swish over to Saris.
Hello. I am Saris. I am the dungeon master for this lovely campaign. You can find me all over the internet at Takestixel, where we're just kind of here. There is some cosplay content going on in my other accounts as we are also crunching and trying to get stuff done. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Sorry. She will not be stopped. You can find me on Fridays over at Distortion Devil's channel. I'm going out of order because apparently my brain has decided it, where we are going to be doing some more Kazar's Guide to the Cosmos. And on Mondays, opposite end of the week, you can find me over at the Amusing Thalia's channel, where we are doing some more Deltarune. And then every other Sunday, unless we're off, you can find me here doing this lovely thing as I really quickly pass it over to Leah so I can get my cat off the counter.
Hi, I'm Leah. I'm here. I'm doing things on every other Sunday on Bernard Vaughn's channel. Here. Now. Otherwise, I do things on my channel every Monday. I try to start around 3:30 PST for some Deltarune, joined by several people in call. And that happens nearly every week. Unless, something comes up or something has to happen. Last week, I just ended up doing a boss fight the whole week, so, that was that. Thursday, something's cooking. Friday, find me on Connor's channel at Distortion Devil doing Cazador's Guide to the Cosmos, as was mentioned by my lovely players. And that's every other Thursday I'm doing a TTRPG thing. If you want to check that out, it's usually at 2:30 PST. That's my stuff. Vaughn, you're up.
Yeah, hi, you've already found me here on twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at Burnout Vaughn, over on Patreon at Burnout's Bar. Not a lot going on. Yeah, we'll be delting some rune over on Leah's channel on Monday. And then on Saturday, I think there's a chance we might actually beat Fate Extra CCC, so we will see how that goes. But since that's pretty much all for me, it's now time for us to take us away with our lovely theme song. So let me just find that button.
I'm not a player. I don't give a shit.
Just stir the pot and leave.
I love that's exactly where I came in on.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I guess that's a related question. I'll keep this very brief. Have I ever shared the fact that all the dinosaurs in my house have names?
No.
Yeah, that's Steve.
Yo, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have that one. I have my salt and pepper shakers, which are like right next to the skeletons in that picture. You can't see them because I cut them off, but like literally right next to them are two salt and pepper shakers that are T-Rexes. They're Fred and Greg. Tony is the Brontosaurus that lives on my bookshelf. And I think that about covers it.
Hey, yo, Tony.
I just remember Steve is one of the first things Sarah's ever showed me about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. But with that, we're back. Who would like to give a a recap of what happened last session.
I'm volunteering because I prepared a thing. And I never do it otherwise.
Yeah, go
We
for
believe in
it.
you, Kaz.
So, Captain's Log. Second day of our voyage upon the Sing Song
Nice.
River. I think I read somewhere that captains document their trips, so here it goes. We parlayed with the local fishing boat, the Leeside Serpent it was called, captained by a man named Aegon. He was reluctantly willing to share some supplies with us in exchange for information on the infected waters. Since we are still actively searching for information, we promised to return to him and share any updates post our visit to the Cauldron. The crew was quite pleasant, including a strapping elven lad called Rabbit. Seeing similar ilk is a rare commodity for me, and I can only hope my extent of kinship will serve us along the way. With provisions procured upon returning to our ship, we seem to have taken on a few extra bodies. One of them in the form of Sasha, a Vistani who was serving upon the Leeside Serpent. However, they seemed uneasy about it. Apparently, Clem is acquainted with them and offered asylum with us. They seem to have a personal stake in the fungal spread, and an extra pair of hands, as well as a resource for new information, is always welcome. First Mate Fleur discussed the situation with Captain Aegon before we parted ways and uncovered an interesting detail. The man was sure to point out Rosvan's features, and Sasha recounted that he has not been spotted eating regular food, though we cannot determine anything for sure about that yet. I feel it is a detail to remember. The other one, a peculiar individual called Juji, also acquainted with Clem, as well as Branson and Rosvan. They appeared to have met before myself and Lena found ourselves traveling in this group. At first I thought that would have been a good sign, but it turns out they know things they shouldn't. I'm embarrassed to say I lost my composure, and in my absence, the peace was rattled. Some things will need to be addressed, and Juji, I believe I would require some answers. But thanks to Rosvan, I think I can start shedding my personal fears, and perhaps this place will finally fill the void of a place to call home. Or at the very least, let me live as I am in peace. In my solitude, I had a moment of inspiration, and I have decided on a much more fitting name for our ship, the Wayfaring Stranger. An ode to a tune that's given me hope in dark times, and a symbol of lost souls uniting under a shared journey. As we delve into this foreboding treachery of the Cauldron, I can only hope that we make headway in a solution for this rot, not just to assist the people of Carticus, but to also get closer to uncovering the mysteries of the cult with no name and what they've been plotting in the shadows.
Yeah, I know this doesn't do anything in this campaign, but you get a hero point from me.
Yay!
Yeah, I might have to pick up my clapping.
Damn. Yeah. That's gonna get more than inspiration. That was incredibly well done. I really appreciate that. That. Hey, Kaz,
Yeah.
pick a singular stat of yours, base stat, give you a permanent +1.
God damn.
Ooh,
Nope.
shit.
All right.
That was very well done, and I really appreciate the effort.
I was a tad inspired by Thero when Ravenloft
I
came
mean,
back.
cheers to that.
That was also therapy for Thera.
Yeah.
So, once we left off, the 5 of you, actually 6 of you, standing aboard, ready to, standing aboard the upper deck, ready to make sail again and to keep moving forward. With your destination in mind, let me actually start, first off, with some music. And second of all, I'm going to really quickly take you to the Carticus map, just to give you an idea of A, where you are, just as a reminder, and B, where you are heading. Let me know if the water, or not water, the music, it is water, is a bit too loud.
Music seems fine, but it hasn't taken me over to the map yet.
We're working on it. Roll20 is taking its good sweet time.
There we
Should
go.
be seeing it now.
Mhm.
Perfect. So, excuse me.
Okay. So if we zoom in, when you came across the fisher ship, you were about here. You are still making your way through the day as you're midday at this point. With aims of probably getting close to about here, if you are able to, before the end of the day. And then, of course, if you so choose to sail throughout the night, you may definitely, guaranteed, make it to that section of the river, and in turn actually heading towards the what I would consider the outer lip or the mouth of what is the cauldron proper. With that, if I remember correctly, I have it in my notes, we're still at a crosswind.
Yes, we were dealing with that coming up upon the fishing vessel.
Exactly. And before I move forward too far, Branson, at the rigging, Clem and Ophestial were standing about the captain's quarters, Razvan standing up above the ladder to the decks below. And Lena, Sasha was showing you, for a time, how to navigate the ship in such a way that is more successful and beneficial to those who are visually impaired. In this moment, Lena, you are still being escorted around the ship, but not in the sense of an escort giving you a tour, showing you the different layouts and rooms. No, Sasha is making it a point to, as a sign of good faith, recognizing someone who might be a little lost, taking the time, even though, yes, you can and do use Vern as a set of eyes, showing you around the railings and around the different parts of the wood itself, and showing you a little bit of, even, dare say it, a little bit of something mystical in order to help lead you around. As you head over into the main sector, I am going to move your token if you don't mind.
Okay,
Moving
yeah, absolutely.
towards the grate, you see very vaguely the silhouette of Sasha pause, and you see a tap, tap, tap on the foot, tap, tap, tap on the foot, and you can hear the thud, thud, thud of the wood before they extend their leg and tink, tap the grating. Now, at this point, they haven't said anything yet. They actually crouch down, and you start to feel the ship groan just a hair. The wood under your feet seemingly awakening as it lets out this hearty moan. And you notice under your feet there's a shifting that is not the rocking of the boat. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Alrighty, let me hit that real quick.
This makes a
Nah.
lot of sense.
To any of those who might be watching this interaction, Sasha leans down, mutters something under their breath, and draws a circle very lightly, a circle on the wood. And you quite literally witness the floorboard shift for just a moment, as if shifting you off of your foot. You don't fall fully. You don't go prone, but you do trip a little bit, like having to regain your balance as this wooden plank fully shifts you off your foot.
She would quickly try to regain her balance. Maybe she like tries to double back a bit to like the back part of the ship right here, just to like put an arm out to catch herself. And
You find, sorry to interject, but you find because of where you are positioned, there is no one to catch you. So how do you navigate that? There's nothing to hold on to, there's nothing to grab, it is just you on the ship.
Is she able to kind of like direct her fall maybe this direction to like catch like the wall or the like side of the ship right there?
Because Sasha is right here, that would involve toppling on top of Sasha.
Okay, I don't want to do that.
Correct.
She will, I guess, just attempt to like as she falls, like try to use her like hands to like try and like try not to like how you put your hands out to like not hit the floor hard. She'll kind of do that.
See.
That's simulating a big wave that might toss the ship. There are a few things that you might be able to do to prevent this situation. Do you trust me?
She'd like correct her hair a little bit. It's probably a little all over the place right now. Like, well, I suppose you certainly do seem like you know a lot about sailing. More than I do, at least. So certainly.
Sasha will.
First thing that they're going to do, actually, is they're going to pull out from their boot what appears to be some sort of wooden rod, and they tap it twice on the ground. I see on your back you have a halberd.
Yes. A weapon
You
I've...
could.
Sorry?
Oh, she would say, a weapon I've had for some time.
You could always use that. Now, obviously, with a blade, you wouldn't want to be, well, irresponsible. But they hit the boards again. Tonk tonk, tonk tonk. You can always tell where the wood is most hollow and where it is least stable.
Second, they get up and they actually move. They cross over. You hear them just straight up walking across the grate as they head over to the main mast. And they pull off one of the ropes that is tied to the mast and they bring it over. And Lena, if you'll permit it, they're going to actually tie it around your waist.
She would certainly allow it.
This main line will keep you quite literally stay to the mast should any sort of turbulence hit. If you are super concerned that you might get thrown about for any reason, these are here explicitly for that purpose. Now, do you need this all the time? No. However, it could be very lethal and deadly, especially in the Cauldron, for you to be walking around without this. And they just tug it twice, but they tug it hard enough that I'm going to need another dexterity saving throw or a saving throw, strength saving throw if you want to resist.
Trying to... I think I would do dex because she's trying to keep balance along with this force would be more appropriate rather than straight resisting it. Because that would probably be the most important thing is to keep one's feet.
Mm-hmm. So dexterity. Cool.
10.
You're able, as they yank it,
you manage to keep your footing and you manage to keep above. See what I mean?
Oh, I do suppose that does help.
They sort of nod. It's a little difficult for you to see, but they sort of nod satisfied before untying you. And I mean, it's a firm sailor's knot, so you get the sense that that was not going to go anywhere without someone manually untying it.
Yeah.
I think it should be everything I need to show you out here. Captain,
Yes.
looking over
Sorry, I was
looking over
muted.
to you're good. Looking over to you, Ophestial, they ask, "Do you mind if I take this one below deck? Show them a few things."
He will look over at Lena, trying to see if he can gauge her comfort levels. With that.
She seems a little like on the nonchalant side. She might be too far from you to be able to tell like you're like trying to gauge them at the moment, but she seems kind of like in a neutral state. She seems at least vaguely interested in like learning about how to work the boat.
If Lena's all right with it, then granted.
They will offer like the smallest of bows before heading below deck. And unless there's anything you wanted to do, that is actually where I'm going to pause you, Lena.
Okay.
As Lena and Sasha head below deck, I'm gonna once again transfer you down there. There is a moment where there is just the four of you, Clem, Ophestial, Branson, and Razvan. This tension from the previous conversation from last session beginning to build around you. The silence growing ever more tense as the water splashes against the side of the hull.
Razvan will kind of break the tension by simply moving over towards the helm and steering the ship.
Okay.
Seeing Branson just getting back to work, not Branson, seeing Razvan just getting back to work, Branson will just work on tightening the riggings over here and then trying to pick up the weight for like both himself and Lena while she's below deck.
Clem's kind of doing the like, we'll move towards someone with like the hands up, like they want to help, and then kind of like almost second guess it, and then move towards a different person and do a similar thing, and they're kind of almost idling in between different people, a little seemingly unsure of what to do.
Noting that at least Razvan has the helm covered, Ophestial just walks over to Branson. Listen, I don't know what exactly happened while I was gone, but I have a feeling I do.
Are you sure you want to do this here, Captain?
You know, you're right. Clem,
Oh, yeah, yes.
would you mind handling the rigging? I'd like to speak with Branson in private.
I can certainly try.
If you need help, just knock on the door.
Will do. Razvan, would you mind directing me?
Not at all, my friend. One hand over the other. I've already seen you accomplish a lot. This is nothing.
I'll give you a wink and give you a point of bark inspiration.
I Clem will put a hand over their chest. You called me friend. And I will move over and assist the rigging.
Do Ophestial and Branson head towards the captain's quarters, or where exactly do you head to on the
Yes.
ship? Okay.
Yeah, Ophestial's gonna walk into the captain's quarters, urging Branson to follow.
Branson follows, like, trying to seem as polite and official as possible. Like, he's kind of started shaping up around Clem ever since they became, like, the captain.
But you don't have to look so stiff, it's just me.
You'll watch some of the tension come out of Branson's shoulders. It's like, true, but if we're going to keep running into people along the ship, it's good to get in the habit of the hierarchy. It's not my first time.
Fair enough. I'm far from being used to being highly regarded in general. But would you mind explaining what exactly happened after, you know?
You watch as Branson, like, tenses back up as he kind of gets very rigid and, like, his eyes start to dart around as you see as he's trying to contemplate exactly what to say and how to say it, and he finally just like, I tried to, without letting too much be known, escort Juji below deck, where I explained to them that they should really watch their behavior when, and especially when speaking someone else's secrets that are especially not their own to give. Considering the first time I met them, I threatened to kill them if they ever got in our way, and this time I only threatened to kill them if they decided to do something even more foolish. I just threatened to throw them off the boat. I think we're doing much better in the friendship scheme.
If you think a slightly less threatening threat to kill is improvement, listen, I'm very sorry for putting you in probably a very awkward position. You were the only one who knew, and I definitely wasn't expecting somebody that just came out of nowhere to kind of out me like that. But
Branson will just hold up a hand and be like, you did not put me in an awkward situation. You trusted me with something, and I respected your trust. That being said, Juji is smart enough not to try and do something as stupid as that again, but they are also not as clever as they think they are by half, so just keep an eye on them and set some boundaries.
yeah, we will be having a discussion soon. But, and he's like trying to not just outwardly give you the biggest, cheesiest grin, but he can't help himself. I understand why you did it, and I very much appreciate it, and thank you. But maybe in the future you should probably try to match the intention of the action instead of going straight for death threats. I don't believe Juji meant to do anything on purpose. It just happened to hit a sore spot. And an accident's an accident.
You'll watch as he gives like a very like cringy, embarrassed version of the like beast smile from Beauty and the Beast, and just be like, yes, I'm believing I am starting to understand that I handled that poorly, but well, none of you are traveling with me for my social skills. That being said, I will make sure that no one in any way tries to harm my captain. Of this you can be certain. And you have that as both whatever crew I am. He says he has like a confused look of like not knowing like what he is on the ship. Just go, but also as your friend.
I know. Thank you. And whatever I can do to help you out, anything at all, you just have to ask. Unless it's lifting the anchor, I probably can't do that, but, you know.
Yeah, no, I will handle that. In fact, I'm not sure how it got heavier the second I had to pull it up. That being said, there are things I must find out for myself. If I need help, I will come to you, but I expected to find answers in a place that I found nothing.
What, you're talking here?
Branson will gesture around, like, nebulously. Last night I was visited with a vision. He just says kind of tiredly, I'll be honest, if you don't want to deal with this right now after everything that's gone on today, we can just table it. It's not the weirdest thing we've had done to us so far.
No, you can share with me.
Branson kind of like deflates and he gestures over to what I'm assuming over here is supposed to be a bench.
Or a chest?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like... But yeah, just kind of like, get the sense of, do you mind if I sit?
He'll nod.
Branson will just kind of collapse over on top of this, like, and just kind of like, not head in his hands, but two of his hands are propping up his, like, forehead, and he just goes, well, last night I finally met the god you say I'll give me my power.
The voice?
Yes, he visited me in a dream. And I will say this, having officially met each other for the first time, I think we are both severely disappointed in the other in ways that we cannot express.
That's fascinating. I didn't expect it to be an actual person. I guess that makes sense. But what role exactly does it play with you?
Honestly, they seem interested in just seeing how things play out. They put the pieces on the board, and now they watch two different players go against each other. If anything, the powers he gives me are just him evening the playing field. That said, you watch as Branson starts to snarl a little bit. He thinks I am going soft.
Well, even if this is the way you've attained your power, it's still yours to use, is it not?
As far as I know. We will see what comes to happen.
So, however you conduct yourself with this gift, that's your decision, not his.
Yes. How I conduct myself and what I am is what I asked them about, and my disappointment in them lies in the fact that they shared that they cared very little about me or the life they've set me on. So now I must do something that I didn't think I'd actually need to do.
Like what?
He looks very tired. Prepare for a future.
He kind of inappropriately laughs at that and then collects himself. I mean, yeah. You know, revenge isn't the end of your story. It's just a part of it.
Well, I'm not so sure, but the mists in these lands are strange. Until recently, I'd seen several mirrors that I believe predicted my future, and all I have left is a cryptic riddle.
Well, of course no one can predict their own futures. You have a goal now, and when it's done, you will have to find a new one. And whether your voice wants to dictate what you do, I don't think that's their place. And, you know, obviously you've been through a lot of things, Branson, but that doesn't mean that you get to lose anything that makes you who you are and what you want to do. Even if you don't see eye to eye, as long as you still have these powers and you can still conduct whatever he wants you to conduct, which I assume is part of this whole revenge plot, then you're holding up your end of the bargain no matter how you achieve it. And frankly, I don't think that anybody who sees nothing but red all the time is going to be going down a good path anyway. Don't want that for you, Branson. You're better than that.
Branson just kind of like winces hearing that, remembering that, like, in order, it first showed him a picture of himself, and the second mirror showed himself like covered in blood from head to toe, and the last one showing that he was the only one left standing. He'll be like, I'm not sure I can avoid seeing or being covered in red, but there are fates I would like to at least see avoided.
Well, and he'll step up in front of you and place a assuring hand on your shoulder. No matter what happens, we're just going to take it one day at a time. And this isn't a fate you'll have to suffer alone. Clearly this man you're after has done a lot of bad things to a lot of people. You're not just on a revenge path, I feel like your goal is rather heroic.
There's no heroism in what I do. There's only a bleeding urge for justice that needs to be stemmed. That said, he'll briefly place a hand on top of the hand you put on his shoulder and go, I will think on these things. I make no promises, as always. At which point he'll start to stand. And then he'll take up a rigid stance. If that is all you will have with me, Captain, I will return to the riggings before Clem gets too overwhelmed.
Yeah, unless there's anything else.
No, but if there is ever anything you need of me, merely call.
Will do.
Alright, Branson will nod, and then he will step back out onto the deck.
And Ophestial will be right behind you.
As the two of you walk back out, only a short time really has passed, but nevertheless, Clem, you do seem to have a bit of a knack for this, given your strength and your experience with your own weaponry. You actually find a bit of a comfort in the routine tightening and maneuvering of the rigging as Razvan takes to the helm.
You know, I actually kind of like ropes.
Branson comes out surprised looking. He's like, wow, you've actually got more of a knack of it than I do. As he just gestures over to where a bunch of very messy and unorganized knots are that look like they can't be untied, managing the rigging on his side.
They're like chains, but lighter and easier to work with.
Have a lot of experience with rope and chains, do you?
Yes, actually, quite a bit. I was not always a minister, dear Razvan.
I am coming to understand this, yes.
How did your conversation go? Is everything... kind of looking between the two of you, is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. How are we, Razvan? Still in course?
On course and a fair wind, Captain.
Good. Clem,
Dear?
before we make it to the Cauldron, I would like to discuss some of these goings on with you if you have a minute sometime. No urgency. I feel like we haven't had a chance to sit down and go over theories and maybe some experiments.
I'm free whenever, Captain. I have plenty of things that I think we could discuss. And actually, I just got some ingredients from the boat nearby that you may have some interest in as well.
Oh, fascinating.
Go ahead and go, Clem. I can handle things up here on my own for a time. Thank you for handling the rigging.
Well, thank you for showing me. I much appreciate it, first mate.
You'll give a slight bow.
I will give a very intentionally deeper one.
Challenge me. Bows deeper.
It's not a competition.
How's deeper?
Puts head through boards.
I was gonna say you're gonna fold in half.
Jumps
like
overboard. Lead the way, Captain.
All right, back to my room.
I follow now.
Everything goes on in this room.
It is a great space when you need privacy.
It's like the South Park episode where they keep taking him to this guy's garden, like talk about double crossing each other.
This is a great
Betrayal
space,
guard.
especially if you need
Yeah.
privacy.
The set designer only had enough for one room. We're gonna keep reusing it.
It just dim the lights every now and then so it looks different.
Move the furniture around. It's a different
Yeah.
room now, okay?
Movie magic.
Seems you've settled into the captain's quarters quite nicely.
I suppose. It's a bit lonely in here, but I guess that's all right. Spacious.
I can always have Omen keep you company if you wish someone to snuggle, but many people don't like rats.
You know, I don't mind them. That would be lovely.
Very well. I will speak to them. Are you
But
okay?
oh, I'm
Before we begin, I did want to check. You were very clearly distressed by the interaction between Juji and Branson. I don't mean to pry, but I do avail my services to anyone who wishes to talk. Any conversations we have would be kept securely between us. I couldn't tell you the secrets that I have from people in the Scald.
what a fascinating position to find yourself in. I'm fine, I think. Apologies for the outburst. That's
None
more of
need.
a, I suppose, an instinctual reaction.
Which, if I'm being honest, is perfectly understandable.
Right. If it's all the same to you, I would like to table that for another time.
As
Too
you
much
wish,
in one day is too much.
Of
However-
course. No, I just wish to make it clear that any conversation we have would remain between us. I consider myself a confidant for many people.
I do appreciate that, and trust me, I will probably take advantage another day.
absolutely no pressure. Many people I have offered this to have never come to speak with me. In fact, that is more commonly the case.
Well, I'm sure that's nothing personal to you. People love their secrets.
People don't like talking about the problems that affect them. But we should focus on the problem at hand.
Yes,
What theories would you wish to discuss?
Well, actually, and he'll reach into his bag, and pull out the vial of fungi that he dripped meekleberry juice into.
Oh yes, the results of this experiment. This is the one with the meekleberry juice, yes?
I was curious, because that tree was very clearly corroded on the inside of the shack, but the outside was completely normal. Something in that area was keeping it clean. Honestly, if we had more time, I would have probably done a proper scrub. It could have been soil. I only presumed something about meekleberries just because they were very plentiful in the area, and there were barrels of them in other shacks being stashed for something.
Interesting, your theory is that the meekleberry is inhibiting the rot. I was personally of the opinion that it was helping ferment it. Well, I believe this vial should help ascertain who is correct. Set it on the table, let's examine.
He'll place it on the table underneath the light.
You see that
yeah,
the
go ahead.
black spots from the mold have increased since the time. Not necessarily by much, but it is still growing inside of the meekleberry juice.
Well, it certainly isn't acting as an inhibitor, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be acting as a specific catalyst. I will say alchemy is not my forte. I study more herbalism, but it is still interesting to note.
Nor is it mine. It is a tad bigger. I suppose that would explain why there were so many barrels. From what I've gathered, the fungi, at least the ones I was able to speak to, were placed where they ended up by someone. They couldn't necessarily give me much identifiers, although in the weapons shop, that one, I believe, was noted, specifically the cult. There were other people as well. But I feel like we already knew that. The timing of it, though, is very strange. Because it seemed to have happened around the time that their owner went missing.
There is definitely some twisting lines of conspiracy happening in the background within Scald, stuff that I have yet to fully uncover. I am hoping when we arrive at whatever this cave system is nearby that we'll be able to discover more about it. But I will say that your theory does hold water. Perhaps not correctly, but I do think that you are correct in thinking there is some connection between Meekleberry and the rot. I think it would not have been so prevalent in that village, were it not.
No, I feel like they must be growing them for something. And if it's to increase the spread. But here's the other thing that's been bothering me. People have been going missing in Skuld, correct?
Correct, yes, for some time.
And the fungi has been spotted there at least 4 months ago, perhaps longer in other cases, but at least 4 months ago is the oldest instance we've found.
My first, this is like pulling out a little moleskin notebook and it's like flipping through. They've obviously been like taking notes on this kind of thing for quite some time. Yes, I do believe the first case that I became aware of the rot was roughly 3 months ago for my studies, but still the timeline matches up.
And I picked up some interesting details from Sasha, actually. They said that part of this fungi, it was sprouting like veiny tendrils, and it was causing people to lock up their legs, and it was walking them.
The thing that concerns me the most about that is it relates to Sasha. I believe it should tell you, as you're the captain and you should know these things, but especially as you have been so gracious to allow them on board. But Sasha is a member of a group called the Vistani. They are, in fact, a true member of the Vistana, closely related to a group that I have traveled with in the past when I was lost in the mists. They are good people. They have their own culture and their own beliefs. The concerning thing to me is that through some means or another, they are often unimpeded by the mists or other goings-on around, well, Cartacus and the other lands they've told me about. Generally, the Vistana are unaffected by the negative magics that can happen naturally here. The fact that Sasha's people have been targeted would suggest that it is not some malevolent overarching force, but in fact directed. If someone is targeting them, things are expanding, and quickly, in a dangerous way.
Right. Well, I don't know much about the Vistani exactly, but something about them is apparently attracting this cult. And perhaps it's their resistance?
That was what I was worried about. Perhaps it is the fact that they have such blessing that they are being targeted. I myself was recruited for my own personal resilience and ability to survive. I believe Lena was targeted for the same reason.
That's certainly interesting.
A
Well,
puppet master is only as good as the materials they work with.
right. So that begs the question, why would they target places where the Vistani aren't? Why place it in Skald? Why place it in the outer city?
My guess is that they have more than one goal, but I believe that they are likely tracking and/or targeting things simultaneously. It would stand to reason with how expansive this cult has gotten. According to Lena, they exist all the way in Harmonium as well. I believe that Skald is a recent development, and unfortunately, if my theory is correct, it would imply that they are even more deeply rooted than other areas of Cartacus that I am not yet familiar with. In fact, I have yet to even see the original base in which I worked, in which I met or saw Lena the first time. I have yet to go back there. I do not even know where that could be. I was led there by them.
Well, and unfortunately, my scope of understanding of this is very, very limited. I've only really been walking through the forests and to Skald and very briefly in Melancholy, but I don't even recall seeing any of that there. I was really only there for a night.
Melancholy. Yes, that's the small town that you all mentioned previously. that is concerning. The ingredients I had procured. I believe this, I'm not certain, but I have a feeling that you should have one of these. And I'm going to hold out a dried and processed assassin vine.
He'll take it. Oh, thank
Perhaps
you.
your inkling with plant-like magics can do something with this.
Would I recognize this at all?
Roll me a nature check with advantage.
Oh, take a 20.
Yes. Not only do you recognize it, this is something that you have personal hand experience avoiding in the wilds. So a little bit of information for your FYI. These are you like above table, you're familiar with like strangleweed, right?
I don't believe I am.
Okay, so that helps me give a frame of reference for how this particular type of vine works. An assassin vine is a specific type of, for lack of a better word, like plant-like creature. Seems to have a bit more, shall we say, instinct and or sentience, debatable, than the average plant. It has the ability to make itself look like the plants around it, but what it will do is anytime that it senses a prey, because it is carnivorous, it will quite literally climb, constrict, entangle, and or suffocate its particular target. It's known to be pretty long with pretty deep roots. And it is also typically you can find it not necessarily by finding it itself. You wouldn't necessarily be able to identify its own leaves because of its abilities to camouflage. However, oftentimes in your experience, you were able to identify its presence quite literally by the presence of dead, like small game in its surrounding area.
So Clem, when you drop it in his hand, he actually like flinches for a minute, seeing what it is and what type of plant it is. Oh, where did you get this?
Well, Omen picked it up. Sometimes they have a mind or a will of their own, as most animals do, and I believe it is the crow part of them that steals things. Pretty much anything they can get their hands on that isn't nailed down. Stole a bunch of goods from the ship that we passed. I feel bad about it, but at the same time, if I admitted it, I was worried that it would cause an incident.
It came from the ship.
Yes, these two as well. I hold out 2 massive dried white cap mushrooms.
Do the mushrooms look suspicious?
Roll me a nature check.
I will assist as I also have proficiency with nature and would be like offering my thoughts on them at this point.
Sure. Then roll
If that's
with
okay.
advantage. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a 12.
You've never seen them this big, that's for sure, and they're a little shaped, trademarked. But they sure do look like standard white cap mushrooms.
Okay.
These are for you as well.
All right. He'll take the mushrooms and put it in a pouch.
Last gift for you. I've never seen this before. I hold out a star fruit to you.
Okay. He will take that and set it on the table. Do you know
Man,
what
that
the-
sure is a fruit. It looks like a star.
I'm assuming it's just a star fruit.
You've never seen one of these before in your homeland, but it sure looks like a fruit, smells like one too, and it sure looks like a star. Star-shaped.
Do you know what these vines are?
Would I, actually? I can roll a nature check as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Unfortunately, yes. I have had to avoid them once or twice in my travels. I believe they call them hashashin vines, correct?
Nod.
That's very curious on what they've been doing on that other ship.
Yes, it leads me to believe that they've grown rather more prevalent as of late. In my experience, they tend to only grow around, well, swamplands on occasion, near animal burial grounds. But if there is an overabundance of corpses in the woods these days, I can see the hash vines growing much more rapidly.
Just because he has it in his hand now, he will take that vial full of fungus and meekleberry and dip one of the leaves of the assassin vine into that vial to see what it does.
You watch as it takes a minute, right? As you're sort of watching in the way that like a watched pot takes a minute to simmer. But you watch as some of the spots of fungi actually begin to gravitate slowly, almost like they're not swimming, but almost like you'd expect them to swim towards the leaf.
I have never physically seen fungus move. That is absurdly fast for plant growth.
That's some
No
of the
fungus
stuff
on
I've been
traditional-
afraid of.
Yes, I know fungus on traditional plants, but still.
Their capabilities never extend this far.
Yes, it's unbelievably fast, visibly fast. It's moving. Like a little bug.
It seems to have a need to take things over. The ones I spoke to,
Actually.
they only spoke of consuming.
This hash vine is dead. What do you think happens if it's allowed to take over the dead plant entirely?
Ophestial will actually pull one of the leaf off of the rest of the vine so that he can close that vial to keep it contained, just to let it kind of do its thing.
I imagine it's like sitting on the table and that both of us have like hands like on
Yeah.
the table,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like staring at it,
just eyes
just peeking over the edge.
deep
yeah.
on it, yeah.
Yeah. You watch as the fungus seems to eventually grow stagnant, bits and spots lingering in the juice, while some spots
seem to, like, almost like the way that a foam, like, surrounds a physical object. The fungus kind of, I would not say swarm because it's not all of it. The mold just sort of sits around the outline of the leaf. And for now, as it sits and eventually comes to a complete stop, you get the sense that in order for you both to see continued results, it's going to need time.
I suppose we'll just have to let it sit. It seems to have integrated itself. Perhaps we'll check it this evening.
Yeah. I heard from the others that they've encountered plant matter trees, I think, covered in this stuff that actively attacked them. Didn't see it myself. Can't imagine they'd lie about it, though.
Clem makes a face. It's somewhere between disgust and contemplation. Good to note. I will keep this in mind. I may ask the others some questions about the things they've seen before you joined them. Do you wish to accompany me for this?
Yes.
I believe Lena would be most important to speak with first. I last saw her in the bottom deck.
Yes.
We'll head there now. Lena, kind of coming down the stairs. Dear?
As
She's,
Go ahead.
as
if I can flavor what she's currently doing.
Sure, go for it. Go for it.
She is, right now, it looks like she has accidentally tied one of her hands together trying to do those really strong turn or captain knots, trying to figure out how to do them, and she is trying desperately to undo it right now without cutting it.
And Sasha is sitting on the stairs, kind of just watching in mild amusement.
Sasha, I know you know how to tie ropes. It's like one of the first things they teach you when traveling in the Vistana caravan.
Of course. She insisted on trying for herself.
I think it's important that I figured out. I think I almost got... No, that just made it tighter.
Lena, there's no harm in asking for help or assistance or guidance.
She just, like, intently, like... Even though her eyes are, like, wrapped up with the bandage, you can tell she's intently, like, staring, like, almost like a laser through, like, the rope in her hand as she's trying to, like, almost, like, undo it in her mind.
Lena, I thought that your relationship with your bird might have, you know, made you a bit more willing to accept help.
Yes, I know Sasha's right there. I just figure it might have been helpful to try and figure it out on my own. And she would just like, okay. And she would like just hold her hand out to Sasha. I think I need help.
There's like a satisfied smirk on their face as he then reaches out and begins to very skillfully and very quickly untie the knot that you have made. For your information,
like, horribly like bad at tying rope, and there's just this like almost like a tumor of rope almost.
Yeah, and
like
for your information, the only reason why this is being as successful as it is because that was a natural 20 on the die that I rolled. So like
Clem remembers seeing Branson's like rigging up top and goes, Sasha, actually, would you mind helping Branson as well? I believe he could use some knot lessons.
I would be more than happy. And they just kind of give like a small flourishing bow before standing up fully and
I bow similarly, slightly lower.
going straight up
Not
the
this
stairs.
again.
Yeah,
Lena would
well-
just like adjust her like her open gambits in a little bit and be like, okay, well, Besides that, did you need help with something? She looks at Clem.
I look over at Ophestial. The captain and I were discussing some of the things we've been investigating regarding the rot, and I thought it would be pertinent to ask some questions to the members of this company that were around prior to the arrival of Ophestial and I.
Oh. Yes, absolutely.
When was the first time you encountered the rot, and where was it? Clem just dives right into it. They like hop on a crate and like sit there, and they pull out their little notebook, and they're like straight up interrogating Lena now.
As far as I remember, the first time the rot was encountered was, at least for me. And as she thinks for bits, I vaguely remember seeing it like in the forested area around Melancholy before I met some of the party. Then I got a really good look at it when we traveled through. I think that was the only time I ever saw it, or at least noticed it.
Not near Harmonia at all.
No, not that I. And she like rubs her head a little bit. Not that I remember.
And do you mean in the forest, like, after I showed up? Or before then?
Yes.
So you'd never seen it before?
No, this is somewhat new to me. I don't believe I ever remember running into it when, in my time with the cult. But, I believe, I also don't remember much from that either. I remember mostly just getting indoctrinated, and I remember having a lovely meal with a large group of people. And the last thing I knew, I was at the ritual site.
When you mention the ritual, Clem looks like down at the floor.
I have a distinct feeling that my meal may have been drugged or poisoned or something.
Indeed it was.
But I don't remember anything in the small bits of memory I still have of that. I don't remember anything relating to the rot.
Do you remember a garden?
That is a good question, as I say, as I stone on stone grind,
History.
turn to look at the DM.
History check.
Okay. 3. Oh, 19.
I would say you remember bits and pieces, yeah.
It's very foggy. Oh, go ahead.
You're good. If I'm on the same page with you, Leah, there were community gardens and fields that were utilized by folks who had been, for lack of a better word, like new initiates of the cult.
That was like their primary job. That was what Clem was brought on to do largely. Was a lot of like the trimming of like orchards and that kind of thing.
Exactly. And you do remember little bits and pieces. I would say you remember not only in its existence, but you kind of remember some of the smells. You remember the smell of peppermint in particular. Very powerful smell. It's something that sort of lingers almost like, despite all of the fogginess of your memory, it's one of those things that like sticks out to you as like a surefire, like you could inhale and smell it now, you know.
Yeah. She would say, I don't remember much being on the altar. I was in and out of consciousness a lot. I remember stark-looking trees, a few vibrant colors, potent smells, flowery smells, but I remember distinctly peppermint.
Olfactory senses tend to be some of the strongest linked to memory. In my experience with speaking with people about their traumas, most often it is a smell that triggers their memory. Perhaps it is, in fact, best you don't remember your ritual. I am sorry.
She kind of like raises like one of her hands and just kind of like looks at it a little bit and says, "Yeah, most likely. I'm not sure I'd ask."
I am sorry.
Oh, I thank you. I'm sorry for what you went through as well.
Don't. You have no need to be. You apologizing to me is the last thing I think you have necessity to do. Thank you for your answers.
Of course.
Good to know.
There is, you had mentioned something that you also wanted me to talk to me about?
Perhaps not right now.
No, yeah? Okay.
Merely asking some questions on the rot and what we could learn of it.
Ah, alright. If anything else does come to mind, I will make sure to let you know if it just happens to.
The captain first, then me.
She would glance over to Ophestial and then back to you, Clem, and she would nod to both of you.
Well, it does answer some questions of Ophestial and does put us in the right direction. I believe Branson and Razvan may provide us more answers about the rot prior to melancholy.
I suppose.
I'll let you lead the questions there. I'll listen and see if I can come up with any follow-ups. Lena, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Apologies for interrupting your, whatever you're doing.
Lessons.
Trying to make sure to be able to do knot riggings well without help. And she holds up another, like, I would assume she might be practicing on, like, maybe like a 6-foot piece of rope or something like that.
Yeah.
And she would say, "I'll continue my practice here. If you need anything more, feel free to holler."
Let me show you the most important knot for anything ever. And I will show you,
Okay.
I will show Lena a hitch knot, which for anyone who knows, it's not really a knot. It's just a way of looping a rope around something so that it, like, catches rather than, like, slipping.
Yeah, that one's really good.
This is a hitch. Most important knot you'll ever need.
Oh, okay. She would study it a little bit.
One I know.
And she would try replicating that as well.
Go ahead and roll me a dexterity check.
Okay. Would it be sleight of hand? I don't think I'm trained in
In
that.
this case, it is dexterity.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's 18.
Simple enough. You replicate it.
Oh,
Over, under.
Over and under. Oh, I get this. She says as she like starts like practicing it repeatedly. This one's a lot easier than the other one.
It relies on the rope's own strength to hold itself. I pat you on the shoulder as I say that.
Her smile would perk up a little bit more. And like just the like, I got this one.
Clem will smile even though you can't see it and then begin to walk towards the door. Pause before heading up and look back towards Ophestial.
Yeah.
You coming, Captain?
Oh, yeah.
After you. I kind of do the, like, one hand forward, go ahead gesture.
Alright. And he will make his way back to the top deck.
Lena would give both of you a cheerful wave, as she goes back to what looks like accidentally entangling herself.
In that last moment where Ophestial heads up before Clem heads up, Clem will just, whether or not Lena hears, put their hand on the door frame. I am sorry. And then head up.
While the two of you head up, Branson, Sasha has been pretty avently attempting to show you different knots, and in the process trying to help you untangle yours. Like, I think this one is attached to no, pulling on it and it looks like it's attached to that one, but I think the tension's coming from over here. Oh, hello, you two.
Hello, we've come with some questions.
Say Branson looks about as like tangled up in like his own trying to figure out knots as Lena was. Just like,
We very much appreciate your tutelage, Sasha. I do believe we need to speak with Branson and Rosvan for a minute if you wanted to go back to assisting Lena.
That is not a problem. They kind of give you like a knowing like nod, and they head below deck again.
Rosvan, can you hear me from there?
Of course, Captain!
Perfect, I'll just shout a little bit. You two. We had some questions. I'm curious. I remember, I think, and he gets a little melancholic expression. I think Humphrey told me this. That you guys have run into this fungi before we came to be acquainted with one another.
Yes, I believe we have.
Where was it?
Branson's gonna
Rosman
Excalibur.
searching his memory banks.
Yeah, Branson's actually gonna Excalibur face and just be like, that is a strangely subjective thing that we can only answer that way.
If I recall, we only experienced it when we were with I think Barhu, when we were traveling through the mists.
Yeah, the thing is that we found them in a cave deep underground, but the caves seem to transmigrate or translocate with the mists, so...
Yeah.
So, pause. Before
Oh.
then.
Mhm.
Before then, both of you roll me
History checks with advantage, because you're on the right track, but you did see a little bit more beforehand.
Yeah, I know. That's an at 20,
Nat-
as I
natural
also
20
remember.
to 24.
Do you?
Yes, especially since I mentioned it in my call chat a minute ago. I'm surprised I forgot.
And a dirty 20. All right, you go for it. Take a stab at it.
Are you talking about the living forest we met when we first crossed paths with Juji?
Was that a question for me or for them?
That was to that was to Ophestial and them because I think I remember that did come up.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know. I wasn't there.
Sorry, Captain. Yes, we have experienced it before. Usually either in a dark cave attached to the mists or, as Branson said, near a few trees. If you want to know more, Juji was there with us. Probably has a lot more information about it than we do.
I was suggesting that we work our way up. Oh, sorry. I was suggesting that we work our way up in amount of knowledge. We started with Lena, we're going to you, and I was going to suggest Juji next.
We don't know very much about it. Seems to grow and be quite hostile, but beyond that, when we encountered it, a lot was going on. We didn't have a lot of time to investigate.
It is. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's slow moving in nature, even when it's animating things. It caused the trees to take on vaguely humanoid shape and try to entangle us. For what reason, we don't know. And then, when we encountered it more... I'm cultivating, festering? When we encountered it underground, when it was attaching itself to the roots of the forest, it was much more potent.
Incubating.
That word.
The term you're looking for is incubating, yes.
Alright, well, we attempted an experiment, and I don't think we'll get much luck with this, considering how expensive it will be to replicate, but I was carrying a vial of holy water from my work before the mist took me. I applied it to the fungus at the base of one of the largest root-like balls underground, and it seemed to cause them to disperse and retract, if not completely leave the tree.
I'm sorry, what did you do that caused the rot to retract?
I poured holy water on it.
Holy water. I look over at Ophestial. Would that mean that the rot has a unholy nature to it?
We encountered the cave with the divines in it for the first time. If I recall, the cult of no name was around the area. I thought maybe it was tangentially related, but who knows?
Branson turns to Ophestial. That's where we got the orb.
Ophestial just has a very dumbfounded look on his face. You doused it with holy water and it dispersed. Am I hearing you right?
Well, yes, and to answer Clem, yes, I have the ability to discover if any area is consecrated or desecrated, and, well, the caves throughout that area where the cult seemed to have touched were very much desecrated, and all of it was surrounded by this fungus.
Ophestial, I hadn't even considered that the rot might be unholy in nature. I thought it was fed and cultivated. But if they are infusing it with negative magics, that would explain the speed we saw downstairs.
I believe that explains a lot of things, actually.
Clem, is
I
their
hadn't considered it
like
either.
hands on their head, like, oh.
Well,
You were
this just
saying,
got
sorry.
a lot more complicated.
Indeed.
But that's very good to know. Thank you, Branson, Rosvan.
Of course, Captain.
You two still okay?
What do you mean, Captain?
Holding down the fort up here?
Ah, yes, of course.
Branson holds up his two hands that are tied together and gives a shrug.
You're doing great.
Awkward beast smile.
As the four of you sit amongst your, or stand, sit, work amongst yourselves, Razvan, roll me a perception check.
Let me walk back towards the computer. Perception is 26.
You, with that keen little eye of yours, start to see a little bit of fog forming over the surface of the water downstream.
Where we're heading?
Yep.
Not to cut off your investigations and questions short, but off the bow, nearing port, there is a bit of fog rolling in.
I'm sorry. What does that mean? Does that mean we need to prepare? Is that a storm? What does that mean?
Last time we saw the fog come in this quickly, well, we were transported somewhere else. Captain, you want me to try and reverse course to try and avoid the fog for now? Or what would you like us to do?
I mean, can we? Does it look like? Oh, go ahead.
No, you first.
I was gonna say, does it look like it is like a smaller, like grouping of fog, or is it just like spread across our like visible horizon?
It's a little difficult to say, especially because it looks like the beginning stages.
Try to avoid it for now if you can.
Right you are, Captain. Taking evasives.
Would you care for some extra visibility?
If you can offer it, Captain.
And Ophestial will hold his hands out, and he will cast dancing lights, and he will shove 4 white lights up towards the front of the ship.
Okay.
Appreciate it. We'll let you know if things change up here.
Thank you.
Branson, you said that you were transported by the mist previously. From where to where?
You'll see Branson stop as he's trying to like pull pieces of the rope around his wrists with like his teeth, and be like, "I was transported while running from the mists along with Razvan, Humphrey, and our traveling companions. Some ways away, I could still see them. I was within probably 40 yards. It was rather disturbing. It was the first time I discovered that I could retaliate against the mists. I acted on instinct."
Clem winces when you say that. Yes, you've mentioned previously. But if it took you from the middle of the woods and set you on the path to Scald, did the mist not guide you?
Well, it didn't put us on the path to Scald. It put me about, like I said, 40 yards forward. What it more seemed to do was put us on the path to Melancholy, because that is where it put the mouth of the cave, wherever we exited from.
In my experience, the mist does not take you randomly. It has a will of its own. And our endeavors currently benefit the mists. Whatever these things that are happening here, it is not by their will that they are happening. Captain, you may feel free to disagree with me and ignore my suggestion. It is risky. But may I personally suggest we sail directly into the mists?
Well, I don't believe your faith in it is misguided. So long as everyone treats it with respect, and he glances over at Branson, then yes.
Not Vaughn going over to make sure he didn't prepare, create, or destroy water.
Right you are, Captain. Bring us supposed to be dead. Should be a few more moments, though, if you wish to speak to Juji.
We should, in case anything happens.
I nod at you.
Alright, where be Juji?
That's a great question. You aren't entirely sure.
Do you happen to know where Juji was, resting?
Psst, 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 psst,
I
don't know why I thought that would work, but last time I checked, she was either sleeping underneath the bed or in the kitchen.
I would have paid good money if that had worked.
New summon unlocked.
Branson, where did you last leave them?
I left them in the crew quarters. Razvan was the last to see them, so, like you said, either in the quarters or in the kitchen.
We'll look in the quarters first, thank you. And Ophestial will head down there.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
That is an 18.
You look underneath the 4 beds, and you see a pile of clothes. Gray undershirt, a leather vest, a pair of breeches, and a pair of leather boots.
Hello? Anyone resting in here? You've left some
hear-
things behind.
You hear dead silence.
And with that, he will walk to the lower deck in the kitchen.
Again, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
That is a 6.
All right, tell me where and how you are looking around, and I will tell you what you do or don't find.
I guess he will start with where they have stashed all the food.
Okay. You do find your food. It does not seem to have been touched.
Being familiar with Juji, I'm going to be checking the crew quarters underneath all the blankets.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Happily.
Vaughn brings up a good point that that Ophestial wouldn't know that Juji could take cat form. So
they might.
I'm looking for a person. Yeah.
No. What's even funnier is
naked person.
yes, a completely naked person because none of us have unpacked. Those are just the clothes of the guy that came on the ship. So now he's walking around naked.
Correct.
Yep.
Oh, we're a terrific crew.
Sun is at least somewhat familiar with Juji, so they do know that Juji's a cat. So I am looking in cat places.
Sure. Ophestial, on the other hand, which is why
It's like, have you seen a naked man around here?
I just want to imagine
why
Leia
the
turns
six
just.
kind of is perfect, honestly, because you're looking for a cat. You're not really sure where it's like, why would they be hiding down here? Wait, why am I even checking?
You're like, well,
down
no one's
here?
in this room.
But you do know that the clothes that you saw them wearing are stashed underneath Rosvan's bed. That's not suspicious or
Like,
weird or
Rosvan?
unusual at all. But to that point, you do not see any, like, it's not even just that you don't see signs, like a physical cat underneath the sheets, Clem. It's the fact that you don't even see the evidence of, like, when a cat or a dog has, like, messed around with bedding.
It's not even disturbed. I'll check.
Nope.
I'll check the captain's quarters. I'll check Ophestial's bed.
Yeah, go for it. That's gonna be another investigation check. In the meantime, Ophestial, you also check like the oven just on a whimsy whim, and like no, there's not a person in there. There's no one in here. Not even in a hide and seek sort of way.
He would have ventured out of the kitchen to ask if Sasha or Lena had seen signs of a guy.
You're welcome to ask, yeah.
Lena, Sasha, you wouldn't happen to have seen Juji, would you?
She does that thing when, have you ever seen when you ask somebody have they seen something and they do the quick, like, almost useless, like, look around? You've seen people do that, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, I do that.
And she's like, I've not seen that individual around. No, I thought they were topside.
I was told they were resting in the crew quarters.
Oh, when I came down with Sasha, I didn't see them.
I have not seen them either.
Interesting.
I don't. The only ones that I have seen come down here, besides the two of us, are
Gestures to you and then points upstairs as if in reference to Clem.
Maybe they're up in the crow's nest or something? Does anyone check there?
I feel like Branson or Rosvan would have seen them if it were. I'm just going to go check the back room here real quick. And he will enter the back. What is this room?
it seems to be empty. It's really dark in here, though, as the lanterns are not currently on. But it seems to be just an empty room. You even notice that, like, the sound of water underneath the floorboards where there are holes in the hull. But don't see any sign of a cat or a person. With that 12 investigation,
Where are you looking in the captain's quarters?
As I already described, under the sheets primarily, like a pillow under the bed, under the blankets. I will check under the desks and under the dresser. I know cats like to be under things.
Mm-hmm.
I will also take a 6-foot length of rope, and I will leave it in a circle in the captain's quarters.
Okay.
If you know cats, you know what I'm doing.
I know exactly what you're doing, yes! But you do not find a cat.
When I do find Ophestial, I left a cat trap in the captain's quarters for Juji. Maybe we'll find them there later.
Cat?
A what?
What are you talking about?
Cat trap. Juji's a magical cat.
Why would you trap my dearest Juji?
Do you know what the cat trap is?
It sounds horrible.
I grab a piece of rope, I walk up to you, and I put the rope in a circle around you.
Oh.
I just imagine like Rosvan just had the moment like just thinking of like the worst kind of trap, like some kind of like horrendous like glue
Like
trap
a
or
cage
something.
Like a rat trap or a bear trap.
And comes over here
His
like,
brain
what?
went to bear
No.
trap. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Cats like to be inside of barriers. Like, it's a thing. Trust me, I have to do this. I have a rat.
With that thought in mind, I'm assuming, are all of you on the upper deck at this point then?
Mm-hmm.
I would like all of you, given what was just stated, I would like all of you to roll me, with advantage, a perception check.
22.
23.
6.
19.
So there's a pile of rope in the back corner,
Yeah.
and you see a little gray and blue sphinx cat all coiled up and taking a big old snooze. And apparently they have been there this entire time.
Captain,
Yes.
may I present Juji? Kind of points.
Ophestial, that sure is a cat. It looks a little weird.
It doesn't look like any cat you've ever seen before. The whiskers are all gnarly, the claws are a bit too long, the tail's a little crooked, the teeth stick out of the lips a little bit. But it sure is a cat.
It's a little scrungly guy.
The
That's-
most scrungly.
The scrungliest. That's Juji?
Yes.
He'll walk up to him and just kind of pat him on the head.
Roll me an animal handling check.
24.
Big stretch.
Big yawn.
I imagine in unison, Razvan and Clem go, "Oh."
Ron was like, big stretch.
I love it when they stretch with that and the claws come out.
I see we are moving along nicely. How can I, do you need something? Do you need this rope?
No, the rope's all yours for now.
Excellent.
And they just like loaf getting cozier into this bed of rope.
Clem and I have a couple things we'd like to ask you if you're not too busy.
Well, that depends on the definition of busy, but I suppose I can make myself available.
There's fish in it for you.
Debatable. I will consider.
We were curious.
A dangerous thing to be.
Clem and I are trying to deal with this fungal rot problem, and Rosvan and Branson said that you were there the time that they tried to, let's say, disrupt a very large incubation spot.
I couldn't tell you if they were necessarily related properties, but I could see how someone might deduce that.
Well, being that I wasn't there, I'm only going off of their suggestions. If you have any details that might fill in some gaps, that would be much appreciated.
Well, I can't say much for the,
They kind of just like wriggle their nose a little bit.
the, um, qualities of this blight, this mold, this whatever it is.
They just kind of wave a paw, flicking it.
But I can tell you one thing. I noticed it first along the paths that I usually travel and off the beaten roads that I usually found in my previous territory before it was overtaken.
And where might that be?
The
My
south
question exactly.
south of Melancholy. There used to be a couple of, shall we say, towns that no longer hold an identity. In that empty space is a perfect place for a little creature like me to go about unnoticed by larger predators.
And you say it was abandoned at the time.
Abandoned and forcibly ejected are two very different things.
Uninhabited, I suppose, is a
That-
better word.
Fair enough. Sure, we'll call it that then.
Mm. Well, thank you for the information. God, Clem, none of this makes any sense.
I have a feeling we're missing a piece. Something that connects the locations together, something that connects the attacks together, something that connects all of this in general together. It feels like we're missing something key.
Branson will
I
make like a
sincerely hope.
Branson will make like a thoughtful face as he finally disentangles his wrist from the ropes. Look up at Razvan. Razvan, do you think the whole casket thing is involved with this?
How do you figure?
Cult with no name is all about necromancy. That was a weird ghost thing that they set free.
I suppose I could see the connection.
I mean, it flew in that direction vaguely, but again, we have no way of confirming.
He'll kind of shrug, look towards the captain. We are those who wander, not those who accurately know where they're going.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Branson, for sake of time, will just give a quick summation of the first thing they like encountered when they were brought here, which was the whole casket casket parade.
I do believe there are members of this party that do not know what you're talking about, and as such, I would like to hear Branson's recap of what he believes he saw.
All right. So when we finally were able to escape the carnival through the mirror, we managed to step forth into Cartacus, and not long, within minutes after we began set out on the path it dropped us on, we encountered some man, just all in robes of black and tatters, slowly dragging a very large casket, muttering to himself. As we pondered this for a while, he soon gained a convoy of similarly dressed individuals. When we were about to approach them and ask what is going on, magics befuddled both Onyx and Humphrey, trying to pull them into the spectacle. When we broke them free, they attacked us. We did battle with them for a time until finally something that was within the casket erupted forth like a horrible specter and flew off into the woods. It flew off in the direction we eventually ended up in, but again, all we could really say is that I believe it was Barhu and possibly Juji. Juji, do you remember the scream?
It was quite terrible, but I only heard it faintly.
But yes, after that, when we found out about the cult with no name from, I believe, Barhu, he posited that what we found underground was one of their sites, and it was possibly part of that ritual that we had interrupted.
I think it's possible it could be connected. Ophestial and I have discovered some strange properties about the speed in which things operate with the rot. And you mentioned it having an aura of undeath. Perhaps this is an out there theory, but it would stand to reason with things that we've seen. Perhaps they are infesting or infecting the bodies, the corpses in some way, and then burying them in key locations, causing the rot to spread from many places at once without one clear source. At least that's my working theory.
Well,
I
I say
suppose
the
we
cult...
didn't really. Well, we
You
didn't
first.
really thoroughly check for bodies anywhere. The only place that we found them was across the wharf. Well, traces of them, at least.
And in the town. And if they're carrying a casket that could be related to the cult.
We have so many theories about what could be happening and what could be causing it, but we don't have really any actionable theories as to who or why.
Well, the cult with no name and Carticus-wide destruction and or control.
Right, but the cult of no name has not had any, well, knowledgeable figures acting upon it.
Roll me a history check, Clem.
I see your point. Let me think. That's a 4.
You remember very vaguely. It's really fuzzy. And this makes sense. It's not like you ever had like a reliable sort of rumors and whatnot, but you can't deny the fact that you feel like you remember some rumor about some type of founder or something. It's really vague, though. You're not entirely certain.
Lena may know more. Lena was a bit more directly connected to some of the core echelon of the cult. I was a gardener. That being said, there was a rumor here and there about some sort of shadowy leader, the founder, I believe a term that was once used was the taproot, prime root, something like that. They're the core of it. It was a theory more than anything else. Something that the people I was working alongside would, well, theorize on. Perhaps Lena would know more. I'll be right back. I'll go get her.
Hold on. Psst, 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 psst.
Hmm?
Damn it, that didn't work either.
They're looking at you.
Oh no, I was trying to see if that would somehow bring Lena appear, but never mind.
You notice Clem took a half a step towards you and is like, "Oh, yes, gotta go get Lena."
What is happening?
Lena, we're discussing stuff up top deck. Would you mind?
Absolutely, she says, as it looks like she quickly hides her arm behind her back, and it looks like the rope is actually tied around her arm now.
Good.
But
We can use that to guide you.
she'll she'll head up with you.
Fair warning, we might be heading into mists. It is my fault if anything bad happens.
All right. I'll make sure to keep the halberd close. And she'll head on up top side with you. Hello, everyone. What is that?
To what are you referring?
Which comes outside and kind of it gets around everybody. She'll be looking at the cat and the rope. Is that Omen taking a different form?
Oh, no, Omen only has 3 forms. Right now they're a bird. Actually, I should tell them to land.
Oh, when do we get a kitty cat?
That's Juji.
Huh?
They're magic.
Oh. All right, wonderful.
Is quite the assumption, Branson, but if that is what you believe it to be, I will let you ponder that further.
Apologies for bringing up your, whatever you were doing below decks, but I believe at least Clem had the question for you in relation to the cult with no name.
Oh.
Yes, and I thought it would behoove everyone to hear this. What do you know of the cult's leadership?
That is another fantastic question. I say, looking at Sarah. As I would try to recall.
So just looks up towards the sky. Or
So
everyone just looks
up to the sky.
Yeah, everyone just looks up towards wherever Lena's looking at. She looks up into the sky like, what's she looking at?
I will need a history check, Lena.
Okay. I know she has a sinking feeling about the dream she had regarding certain aspects of this, but she will roll a history check. I don't know why I reached for my roll my d20. Hang on, let me just.
Just trust me on this.
Just trust me on this, yeah. Yeah. So
That is a 7.
I'm gonna, since you've already connected the dots above game, I'm going to give you that you believe that whoever this important person may be is the person who visited you. I'm gonna go ahead and give you that. You connected that yourself. As for a name or a title, unfortunately, that is not something that you can remember off the top of your head.
Lena shakes her head and says, "Unfortunately, I know very little of the higher echelons of the cult. I knew smaller individuals and names, but no one of any particular significance. Well, I do have a worry that I have seen them, though.
What do you mean?
This was before I met you, Clem. I had that dream that I talked to Razvan about. And that individual's outfit looked like they could have been a member of the cult. And I worry someone with the ability to reach out to me in a dream could be of someone of very significant level in the cult, if this is true.
Well, regardless, even if we had a name and a place to even look for this individual to get more answers, allow me to paint a picture, and please, any of you step in to correct it if it is wrong, but here in Garticus there are no bonds of leadership, no dukedoms nor kings, only loose collectives working together or for themselves for the most part. The Meister Singers have some say over their local communities, but there is no driving force to unify any of the people who live here in Garticus. And now this cult with no name is supposedly here to either take them over or destroy them, and they either refuse or do not know to defend themselves. Is that right?
I believe they are trying to unify. The cult with no name, from my understanding, is attempting to homogenize Carticus into one group following under their tutelage. As I explained a little when we first met, but the way that they recruit and their actual practices are quite different. They advocate for and build a community around exactly that. Communal support, communal care, communal kindness, working together. The communes in which the cult operates are almost idyllic. But in actuality, they're attempting to indoctrinate these people into following the orders of the leadership. Of which, if Lena is correct, and if the rumors I heard are also correct, in fact there is one individual attempting to take over Carticus via the cult. But I do believe you are correct in your understanding of how the Meister Singers work.
And this individual is using lines to enact their ambitions?
It would appear so.
But why? If they already have the support of the people who live here in Carticus, they already have these communes. It would take very little force to get them to enact whatever wills they have.
It's not widespread enough yet. The cult is not numerous enough yet for that to work. And from my understanding, what better way to spur people to your cause than to cause a catastrophe that you can solve?
That's exactly what I was thinking, Krem.
It also helps.
This just... Well, it just sounds like some one person's thirst for power, and they managed to get a group of people behind them. Even the cultists we've run into so far don't know what's going on.
Also, they have the Blood Moon Guild already trying to choke the life out of as many people as they can for, he holds up his hands, protection, as he air quotes. As I said to many people here, that they should ask what they are paying for if they're not actually being protected. And that sounds like a great way to draw people into a commune.
Well, at the very least, it seems like an actionable theory, at least as such, but without proof, there's very little we can do to act on it, let alone stop it.
Here's hoping we can find the proof where we're heading.
Then let us pray that the mists are on our side today, taking us in.
And as you say that, the five of you look out, and the mists have overtaken your horizon as you have been chatting.
You wish for prayer, Razvan? As you wish. And Clem begins to step forward to the prow of the boat.
I will leave the tongues of deities in your capable hands. I tend to prefer to use my lips for better things.
Clem, not really responding. You would notice their head is down and their hands clasped in prayer. And for any who would listen, I pray to the fog that we may find our way. I pray to the mists that we are not lost in a bog. I pray to the sky that we will find where we go next. I pray to my friends that they will find their way with me.
Clem.
Give us a good omen today.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, you're good. I paused intentionally. You're all good, baby.
Clem, roll me a D100.
Ooh.
7.
A 7.
Divine intervention. Let's go.
As
Perhaps listening, perhaps it's a coincidence. The fog swirls. You see as it does not swirl at your feet like you have seen it done before, but rather at the bow and at the hull, upon the crow's nest, and around the masts and the sails. You see as it grows thicker, it rolls. And without even a need for a perception check, Clem, as your eyes raise, I'm assuming from being bowed in prayer, you see a faint blue light off in the distance.
Razvan,
Yes, Clem.
follow the wisp. And I point towards the blue light.
Taking us in.
You collectively take your positions as necessary. Slowly, the groan of the ship reminds you of its strength as it charges through the waves. The mist passing by, yet never ending, like clouds, the ones that you can touch. And eventually, as the ship continues to move closer, one singular blue light becomes many. As a silhouette begins to take shape in the fog and in the mist. A silhouette large and equally as powerful, and an almost a harmonious echo, like a round of a cannon of song, not a round of a blast. You hear the echoing groan of what you realize is yet another ship passing, but seemingly, instead of following the current as you in your lot, and instead of passing, going upstream as the fisher ship before you, this one sits almost perpendicular to the valley of which you sit in. And that is where we're going to take a break.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
I had an actual prayer, but I couldn't find it in time, so I had to just make that one up on the spot.
Well, it was cool.
Well, thank you. I have one prepared. I found it, so I have one prepared for if and when that Clem prays again.
Music for the break.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Hey.
The fucking Mega Man Xander in
Ambiance.
chat, part of the ship, part of the crew. I'm just like, no, that can happen.
Nope.
In the Dimension. I don't want that.
All right, I am gonna BRB really quick.
Yep, me too.
Hey, Chad, I hope you're having a good time.
Welcome everyone to the Burnout Vaughn halftime show.
This is which is just known as the piss break. Listen, there's gotta be something in every long-form program, okay? Sometimes you just gotta fill the role, which for me is just filling dead air. But yeah, no. Like, this definitely was not the episode I thought it would be. Though I do love the idea that now you and I can be, like, solid buddies in not knowing how to sail.
I've been having fun, just like Lena, just like, is this how you tie a rope? 50 knots around her arm? Oh, no.
I just want someone to be like, see Branson's horrible, like, triple knots that he's made that would be horrible to try to undo without, like, even, like, a sharp implement. And they just look at him and just go, we thought you were, like, part snake. Don't you know how to coil?
A halftime show has summoned me. Yeah, thank you, Vex. It's usually the Vex version halftime show whenever it's on my stream or stuff.
Fair enough. Though I have to prepare for all my official duties tomorrow when I'm managing the death pool.
Oh, yeah.
Vaughn, you want me to throw it?
Well, not now that there's going to be evidence, Zan!
What? I'm just saying. Like, maybe I fuck up a little too much. Fuck around a little too hard. You know?
I mean, you're like, right now fucking with Strahd has got you very much high in the rankings for possibilities, so...
No, okay, Zan, here's the key is you say this, and then afterwards we get together in a group and we plan someone else dying so we can drive up the numbers on the death pool for your character and then win me.
I love that this is becoming conspiracy across two streams because I've also had to clarify that I needed to, like, be fair on these odds for, gambling, like, committee reasons. But yeah, no, this is great. I was also, like, commenting as I caught up on the last episode because I couldn't catch all of it live. Like, I was in the YouTube comments and just going, I'm so glad that we get Razvan in our group and not, Jasper. At that point, we'd have two Bransons.
Razvan would not do well, I feel, in Barovia.
Yeah, no. Like, in all honesty, the two domains we've been to are the kindest to Razvan, and I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah.
Oh. Give me a second, I need to stand up and stretch.
Look, all I'm saying, Vaughn, is I'm the descendants of an Irish bookie, so, you know, you just told me when to dive.
Fair enough. Nah, you and fellow, like, countrymen. Well, actually, no, I just realized it. If you can die and keep Oscar alive, that would help, because then you could be both Irish and screw over someone who's doing a British accent.
It's true.
Ugh. Also juggling all the notes that I started compiling between streams. I'm getting better at it, though, slowly.
It takes practice.
Yeah. It does help that now that I've got my Stream Deck working, I can just press a button. I'd have to have OBS up, like, full on my third screen, so I can kind of turn away from it and just focus on, like, two screens and a notebook.
I am returned with a snack.
Welcome back. Don't you do that to us, Alexander. No. I don't need a mummy's curse.
So, the only reason I personally would not is because I do not feel confident in my ability to handle a setting like that with the amount of grace that I would like to.
Very fair.
There are certain settings in the Domains of Dread that I will probably never touch, just out of respect for the, shall we say, culture of origin.
Oh, the culture
Like,
should pull in form for sure.
Huh?
Oh yeah,
The culture
the
start pulling
way
from.
that
Yeah.
the way that Ravenloft and Barovia handle the Vistana historically is haha not good.
It certainly is interesting. So I hope you'd be like I hope you're comfortable with me sharing this, especially knowing like hi.
Oh yeah, we've talked
the-
about it. It's fine.
The disclaimer here is like, this is not an excuse. I am not excusing this. We understand that these things are not okay, and it is our job to continue to do better. But I had a really interesting conversation actually about this with my mother, who was talking about how in her experience with the connections and people that she knew, right, that a lot of times it came out of a genuine admiration rather than an intention to do harm, right? And a lot of the time I think this is the case, especially with like older media in Western fiction, that doesn't excuse the harm that is done. And when we were talking about the Vistani in particular, she pointed something out that I thought was very interesting about how like a lot of the people that she grew up with, like the unfortunate truth was like the stereotypes were all they had access to back in the 60s and the 70s. And so when it came to like the stereotypes of the time, it was definitely a case of they didn't know where else to look. Again, not excusing it. It's still bad, and we should still acknowledge the harm that it has done and has perpetuated. But I think about that when I think about approaching it, especially now, and like with that conversation about access, right? About how like when we approach the Domains of Dread now, we should be utilizing those resources and those tools to not perpetuate the harms of the past as a result of ignorance.
I think.
Oh, you accidentally muted
Sorry,
yourself.
yeah, I accidentally pressed it again. I think you're absolutely right on that. Like, I think that is absolutely the way to handle it. And like, some of my, for the record, I am going to I'm not gonna say it on stream for Vaughn's sake, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I am of Roma descent. I can use the G slur for those who are, around, and I do on occasion when I'm talking about it. I don't tend to use it casually, but like I can use it, so I do use it when I'm like talking about those stereotypes. And like some of my favorite media throws that word around willy-nilly. I was reading Berserk, and like the person that gave the fucking Baelit to Griffith is described as being I will say this, a gypsy woman. And that's just like the way that they were fucking that is all Mira had access to, was those stereotypes of like mysterious magic woman. And it is unfortunate. Like it goes into like, Robin Hood, and then all of this. It
Mysterious,
happens with everything.
Mysterious fortune teller. Like that was the only word I knew it for like until like 7 years ago.
Yeah. And like I said,
so many people don't know still.
And like I said, like I think
No, I was just gonna agree, like, and just point on that, like, again, that's also gets missed a lot about. I remember seeing somewhere in the Hunchback of Notre Dame that was one of the original themes that kind of got glossed over.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, that the Disney film in particular is a hot mess. Like, it's a fantastic film, and I don't mean to speak on behalf, obviously, but like when looking at that film, right, I wouldn't even say that it was glossed over, but it was not necessarily handled with the amount of care that I think it should have been, especially at the time that it was created. This is just my personal opinion on that matter. And so, like, as a result, it becomes this very hard, like, related, unrelated. It reminds me of an essay that I recently listened to that's on YouTube titled "In Defense of Aladdin." Promise this is related. I'd like one of the things that the speaker, who is of descent of one of the potentially inspired groups, he was saying, like, yeah, this is an Orientalist crock pot of stereotypes. However, when I was growing up, this is all I had in terms of representation, and like this was the only Disney film that I knew that had an entire cast of POC with not a single white person in. And so, like, I think what I'm trying to get at here is, like, at least for me as like a dungeon master, right? When I see those themes in the Domains of Dread, knowing their origins, right? Knowing, like, where they came from, understanding that there was an attempt, it was not a good attempt, and recognizing, like, a lot of this came out of love, not necessarily hatred, not necessarily bigotry, but it perpetuates that sort of bigotry. I, as a dungeon master, am going to deliberately make choices knowing that these settings have the potential to do harm, have these stereotypes, have these rooted bits in them, and I'm going to steer away. I'm going to handle them with the best amount of care that I can. I'm going to make the intention to do better, right? To be better. We can still tell a horror story, right? Without, like, perpetuating the harm that some of these settings do actually do. I'm rambling at this point, but like I definitely think about that, like, full transparency, and I'm sure all of you, in terms of my players, know, like, I 100%, like, this is something that I look into and I consider heavily when I approach this game, let alone any other game in the setting, because it's very easy, I think, to misstep if you don't take the time and consideration to handle it with care. The other specific domain of dread that I'm thinking of, I cannot remember the name, but it's the basically the one that's based off of, like, Han Dynasty China. And that specific empire. I personally wouldn't run that one. Anyway,
Anyway.
Yes.
are we all back?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Never left.
You never left. Great. Alrighty, then let us resume. The tavern music shall disappear, and into the night. Well, it's not quite the night, but into the night we continue. So, just as we took our break, you see you see a number of different lights. Blue, soft orbs, almost.
flicker about the shape of this silhouette crossing the water. At this point, I would like the entire party to roll me perception checks.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Seven.
We had 23.
Ooh, 22.
Natural 20. Thank you, Mists. Here's to you.
I love that the mists hate Branson so much that he sees less than the actual blind person.
Alrighty. Starting with that natural 20. Actually, natural 20, 22, and 23. I'm going to loop these all together because while you see different things, you do see something slightly different, each of you, but I'm going to start with the general gist of what the three of you see. So, to start, you do see a full fully physically intact is the word I'm going to use, ship. However, its sails are not drawn. They are tied, or at least at first you think they are. And then you realize the things hanging about the mast are not ropes, but tatters. It is not that the masts themselves are not drawn, but rather they are no longer in one piece. You also note upon this ship that there is very clear evidence of wear and tear. There is holes and damage to its structure. The railings in some places chipped and bent, broken. Clem, the first thing that catches your eye, there's not a soul at the helm. In fact, all three of you notice on the deck, there's not a soul on top either. You do not see any silhouettes in the darkness. You do not see any silhouettes in the fog. Ophestial, you see the blue light flickering around the ship. The only lights that you see are the two floating lanterns that seem to be positioned next to the helm. Lena, this is not going to be a vision-based. This is going to be scent-based. Something that catches your nose, that strikes you as odd, is the smell of salt. Not just the smell of rot, but the smell of salt. The Sing Song River is a freshwater river. It is not a salt river. This is not salt water. Razvan, something that you notice about the ship is that it is not moving. It is anchored as you see the silhouette of the chain dipping into the water. Branson, to your dismay, you see lightning in the sky.
do you wish to do?
I will look back from the prow of the boat. Captain, first mate, I'm afraid I can't see anyone manning the ship. It appears to be moored.
Do we appear like we are on a collision course for this ship?
Potentially, yes.
Razvan, veer right a little bit.
On the captain, cut with the sails! On to port!
We
Lena
go
would certainly
about
head
doing
over
so
to
best we can, yeah.
Lena would certainly begin helping with the sails where she can.
All right, let's go with our survival check for Razvan, and let us go with our what did I say it was? Oh my goodness. I know this. Hold on.
Was it
Let me pull it up.
athletics?
It's not athletics. It's dexterity based. I'm just trying to remember exactly which one it is. Because I am smart. In this case, it is going to be acrobatics. I think.
That's what I have.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, not acrobatics. This would be sleight of hand. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Acrobatics was for climbing it.
Okay. You are able to veer the ship very successfully, Razvan. You know exactly where you need to go. You know exactly where your heading is. Lena, I would say with the assistance that you have and the time that you have taken to practice, you're able to successfully do as instructed, and you find it a little bit easier. It's still not you're still not solid on it yet, but you feel a lot more confident in your ability to navigate, adjusting the rigging. And as you eventually come close to the ship, eventually it becomes fully in view. My question to the captain and to the crew is, do you lay anchor?
Before deciding to do that, Ophestial's going to come up here to the bow and pull out that spyglass and try to look for any specific details, potential signs of rot, other signs of damage.
Sure. With advantage, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay. Say 21.
Okay. So, in terms of rot, you do see rot, but you don't see what I know you're looking for. You do not see any signs of the black mold. You do see damage, wear and tear to the ship. The ship looks like what you would expect of a ship that is decaying, that has seen its time on the water, and that has lived a very dangerous, surprisingly dangerous yet successful life. That said, there is a hole in the bow that you are genuinely surprised somehow is not bringing in a ton of water, and you spot something off. You can't pinpoint exactly what it is because of the mist, but something is very much off about the specific area of the ship where the captain quarters would be. There's like not the whole side of the ship, just that specific section. Something is off about it, and you can't pinpoint what it is, but something visually almost feels lacking.
I'm curious if this is what Captain Aegon was tiptoeing around warning us about.
A standard rule of the sea would be for us to investigate, as others would hopefully investigate our dooms if this is that.
If
But
anyone
it is up
needs
to you,
help,
Captain.
Were you saying something, Leah?
oh, sorry, I was just kind of going off of it. My bad. It was a latency thing. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Zan. But I was just gonna say, if and Clem would trail off with this. If someone needs help,
If I might make a recommendation, Captain, if we are going to investigate this ship, we have a lifeboat. Let us take that rather than board our vessel to it.
I would say Branson moves up towards the bow of the ship. He takes off his lantern, pulls out a nail, and then uses his axe to start hammering it into the mast that's right there. And he'll just go, whatever we do, we should be quick about it, for it seems this ship has brought its own storm, as he gestures up to the lightning that's crackling in the sky. It looks like an angry
Rosvan's
one.
face will become far more flushed than its normal pallid color.
The choice is yours, Captain, but you should make it as soon as possible.
Well, if it's customary to investigate, then let us do it quickly. Sasha, Juji will stay behind.
I may not be able to drive a vessel, but I can always keep an eye and a nose to the railing.
I think we should just have someone to alert us if anything is to try to board while we are not present.
Certainly, I can 100% do that.
If we lose the anchor and cleat the sails, the ship should not move anyways.
It's just a precaution.
Branson
Speaking
will
of
just...
nose. Oh, sorry.
No, you go first.
Speaking of nose, does anyone else smell that? It
Smell
smells
what?
like salt or salt water.
That should not be. We are on freshwater lake. Shall we get moving?
I would say just
Yes,
before they leave,
quickly.
before they leave, Branson will just look over to Sasha and gesture towards his lantern that he hung up on the mast. If that's the lantern's light turns blue, sound the alarm. It might be the only way to save your soul.
Rest assured, I have many ways of handling myself. But if it does,
They nod.
All right.
And as the 5 of you row your way, I'm not going to make you do a check for this, but as you row your way, I will take us over to the map. You should have control over your tokens.
I do.
Yep.
In my mind, Omen, keep an eye on the ship as well. Stay in the, well, crow's nest.
Already done. I shall not leave. Thank you.
Very good. Appreciate you. Well, I've got an eye on the sky for us. We should have a bird's eye view if anything comes top deck while we're investigating. Captain, do we split up or move as a unit?
Let's split. We'll try to cover as much ground as possible just in case.
Your orders are
If
free
anything
roam.
yes, if anything is to happen, please alert everyone at once.
Nod. I'm just gonna make my way over to these boxes now then.
One of which is, as you can see, the top is open, and you just see it's mostly empty, but you see largely decaying ropes with some sort of soggy plant substance on them.
It doesn't, as described before, it doesn't look like the rot. It's just soggy plant substance.
It's soggy plant substance. You can always roll to see if you want to identify what the kind of plant substance is, but it does not look like the titular rot.
Just a 9.
A 9, it sure is a plant substance. You can confirm that. It's
Would I identify it
green.
as like a water-based one, like an algae or seaweed kind of thing?
Yes, it is. It is. It is not specifically like a seaweed or a kelp, but it is certainly
An aquatic, underwater, freshwater lake kind of plant life thing.
Yep.
I can't remember what they're called. We had them in my lake growing up.
It doesn't. I will also note that it doesn't look like any sort of water lily or a reed. It doesn't
it's
look like
more vine-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're describing. Not that Clem does, but
Right. Yep.
how wet? Like freshly? Like, or is it starting to dry?
It's like soggy. It's like gross.
Captain, the stuff in this container, it's as if it just came out of the water. I hold up some of the, like... Let's see? Ugh.
He'll actually kind of peer his head over the side of the ship to see if there's any more similar substances along the side.
Roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
That's a 24. I am perceptive today.
Oh, wow. It's really hard to see due to the mists. However, you do see a bit of gross and mushy green splayed out along the wood of the side of the boat.
Seems as if it's along the outside. Not sure how it got in the crate.
Exactly what I'm confused about.
I think I heard Juji off in the distance.
She's about to say Sorry.
I really quickly
She's
checked
adding
via Omen.
flavor.
Really quickly check via Omen that Juji's okay.
Yes.
I can.
Is Dex getting her day rate for this? Because
Yeah.
I can confirm, Razvan, Juji's fine. I just checked.
okay, good.
You hear some like cat yowl that has some type of speech and it's something about being wet. Like, oh god, it's on my tail. Ugh.
While that's going on, Branson will just kind of like tap Lena on the arm with the back of his hand. You said the air around here smelled wrong, correct?
Lena?
Yes. There's like a tinge of salt in the
Have your-
air.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was it.
Okay. Branson will just look at him and go, have your weapon ready for a second. As he moves to like the center of the ship, like straightens himself up, sticks out his tongue, and all of a sudden there's like a brief pulse of electricity as the air smells like ozone for half a second as he tries to burn away the excess stuff in the air and then try to scent around as boo. Detect evil and good.
I'll tell you this. You have concentration for up to 10 minutes. At this exact moment of casting, you do not detect aberration, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead, but as your tongue flicks the air, you do taste salt.
I don't feel any desecration, but he gestures at the ship. That could change depending on where I stand. And so he'll just keep concentration up on it for the 10 minutes.
This is a kind of random question. Salt has been mentioned a few times. How common knowledge is it that salt is something that's used to fend off various types of spookies?
Roll me, I think in your case, your choice of history or religion.
History or religion. They're the same roll for me, so 20.
A religion check of 20. You would know from your time spent with the Temple of the Old Song that sometimes, yes, salt can sometimes be used in rituals
Like
and
purification rituals of some kind, yeah.
and also a lot of times like I'm gonna just add this on because I think knowing what I know about this world, that's these folk stories that you are familiar with, their origin comes from religious discussion. That sometimes it also has roots, like folk story roots in protective measures.
I'm gonna like walk around and I'm looking for basically like salt piles, salt lines, like if there's a line of salt around the edge of the ship, if there's a line of salt outside of doors, but I'm gonna be doing that right now.
Roll me investigation with advantage.
Investigation with advantage. 13.
So you do not notice any piles of salt, but as you're crawling
Around on your hands and knees and checking around the railing, you do occasionally actually like brush your hand, feel between your fingertips the grit of some type of mineral like substance.
Oh. I have a theory about the salt. It's occasionally used as a, ingredient in certain rituals. Various religious and folk stories speak about it. It tends to be a barrier or a protection. I don't know how to use it exactly, and I kind of like run my finger along the gunwale and kind of rub the
Are you
grit.
talking about
But
warding magics?
yes, that exactly. I believe that perhaps the salt was used by whoever was here to try to protect the ship in some way. It would explain why I'm finding these piles around. Well, not piles, remnants, little, here, like a small line here, right, left, just barely on the edge of the banner.
Peering through the great ways. Ahoy! Is anyone aboard?
Ahoy! Is anyone aboard? Ahoy! Is anyone aboard?
The acoustics are not bad here.
You do not receive a response.
Well, if there is no one in any form of danger, then I suppose we get going?
I suppose we get going.
Captain?
Before we do, he's approaching their captain's quarters to investigate it a little closer.
You approach the door. The door is solid.
And you find the handle turns, but the door itself appears to be jammed. It's difficult to open it.
Branson, care to give me a hand?
Sure. And Branson will just try to shoulder check the door open.
Strength check, or actually, I'm sorry. Attack roll. Attack roll. Attack roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
With proficiency or without?
In this case,
Without.
Okie dokie, then that'll be a straight roll. That's a 12.
You hear the wood splinter underneath your shoulder. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okie dokie. What would I roll for that? D4?
D6 plus your strength.
So that's 8.
note for anyone wondering why it's not a D4. There is a specific mechanic on this door that is, yeah. But yeah, 8.
You definitely hear it splinter underneath the weight of your shoulder, but it does not completely break through.
Did it feel like it was actually like the actual I'm trying to think of the door mechanism, not the latch, but the part of the door that like goes into the frame? Did it feel like that was actually locked, or that something might be blocking it?
It almost feels... Actually, you know what? No. Go ahead and roll me... I'm gonna say this is gonna be a straight intelligence check.
Okay. 19.
19. It appears that the door and the frame have warped in such a way that the wood is actually like rubbing up against the frame to the point of stopping the door.
Well then, Branson will just be like, oh, we're going to need to actually do this intelligently, as he pulls out his crowbar and he just wedges it into the door to start actually getting leverage to try to like properly open it, jimmy it open.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say that it opens. Because
Okay.
you use the crowbar. Yep.
And let me reveal.
Oh.
Oh.
As the two of you walk inside, I'm assuming Branson you go with or no?
Yeah, I just had to move.
Yeah, you
Like,
see...
no, bye. Have fun.
You see glass, stained glass, littering the floor. You see a pile of rope to your right as you walk in, planks just bent off, and it's almost like the entire back of this room has just been like broken off.
Like I hate to use a reference, but you know that scene in Howl's Moving Castle when like the portion of the castle is just completely broken off and you just see the wilderness on the other side of the rubble. That's what this feels like, where you just see endless water and mist shrouded.
Captain?
Yeah.
Was there a giant hole in the back of the boat when we came alongside it?
There was a hole in the front. I don't think we got good visuals on the back.
Alright. I could barely see it. I was too busy focused on the storm. But I don't see any form of a record or any sign of anything we can investigate. Just more debris.
As the two of you, sorry to interrupt.
Hmm?
Sorry, latency. Continue.
No, that was me finishing up, just like nothing to investigate.
As you say there's nothing to investigate, I would like you both to make dexterity saving throws as you feel the mists begin to swirl around you both, and there is this intense, forceful pull, almost like a gust of wind pulling the two of you.
That's a team.
Two of you find yourself pulled 10 feet forward at the edge, as if the wind and the mist itself swirling about you is almost trying to force you off of the ship. What do you do?
Branson, while being like obviously startled, and be like, okay, he's going to try to wrap an arm around Ophestial, like slam his axe into the floor to try to like create something to help keep them anchored, and just yell, "Magic mists! Magic mists!" out the door as he's trying to keep them from being pulled away.
All three of you on the other side of the door hear that.
Rather than moving away, I move towards.
Yeah, Lena will rush over to the door.
The door is propped open, just from the way that it's sitting, and it's in the doorway. But with how poor the lighting is, believe it or not, it's difficult to see, and it strikes you both. I mean, Lena, you using the visuals from Vern in this case, who is, I would assume, propped up on the top of your bun. The two of you notice that it is actually incredibly difficult to see what is on the other side of this door.
And it's like an obscuring thing. It's not like a darkness
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's like the way that the mists are shrouding and filling inside of this doorway make it incredibly difficult to see what's on the other side.
Unquestioningly,
definitely-
I don't break stride. I walk through it.
Okay, you walk through it and you walk through the doorway. I will go ahead and place you here, where you now can see what is happening. And you see
I will-
the same thing as described before, but this time the two of them seemingly like pulling themselves, or like, you know, as Branson described, like trying to force themselves from falling over the edge.
Yeah, I will try to grab the two of them, like by the back of their clothing.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a athletics check.
You got it? 24.
24. On that note, with the next two saves, Branson and Ophestial, you both have advantage, as I'm counting this as a successful help action.
Okie dokie, so just roll them now.
Yep.
Whew!
17. Yes.
I have a request on the failure. If
Okay.
I see Ophestial still going, I would like to throw my weight into it and like use that momentum to throw Ophestial behind me and take the place.
I was gonna say Ophestial probably just like facehugger clinged to Branson's side.
How about this? I will allow you to swap places. Here is what I will say on that front, though. Because Branson, in this, the other reason I'm allowing it is because Branson already said that he had a grip on Ophestial, which means the two of you are going to be working together. I will need, though, a dexterity saving throw from you, Clem.
Of course.
Am I able
Two.
to blind sight sense them through the door?
You know what? I'll allow it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you can feel through the planks of the wood the struggle happening.
All right. Lena might actually target one of them with one of her spells.
For now, with a... I'm not trying to turn Ophestial. Let me click on Clem, please. Let me click on Clem, please. Thank you. Clem, you are not over the side, but you are at the edge and like holding on for your balance.
If I
Lena.
may... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to just clarify that is what happened before Lena took her. Clearly, you want to take an action, so go for it.
Okay. Lena would like to target one of them with one of her cantrips.
Okay.
She would probably know that Ophestial might have the hardest time struggling against some kind of unseen force, at least physically. Will instinctively like reach out her hand, and some of the wood of like the floorboards actually like springs out and grows around their feet, and will actually cast idolic chains on them.
Okay.
Which you can choose to fail this if you feel like it. And what it does is it will ranged grapple you in place.
And because of combination of line of sight and what you said before, I'm going to assume you're doing this on we're just going to say you're doing this on Ophestial?
Yeah,
Ophestial?
Lena's the impaired vision thing is she can target people as long as she can sense them with blind sight. She doesn't have to physically see them.
And this would be the closest target. Again, kind of, when I say line of sight in this case, it's because like you're like the way that I imagine this is like you are standing in the doorway, which means that you're standing like on the same planks that are going to connect to, you know, your closest person, which is going to be Ophestial, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you say anything before you cast this?
Well, they'll quickly say, Ophestial, I've got you.
Okay. And Ophestial, do you choose to fail?
Do I choose to fail?
You can choose to fail, which means that you will automatically be grappled into place.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What does that look like when you cast then?
It'll be like almost like she'll take her claws, like one of her like tree like barbed claws, and like kind of like jam it into like the floorboard. And I would almost say like that like green glowing effect that like kind of like comes from like parts of her arms may travel along the floorboards to under Ophestial, where like it will actually grow up like almost like as if like trees sprouting underneath, and they kind of like vine wrap around like your legs.
And Ophestial, you are now officially grappled. Jumping back to, for the sake of things, Clem, did you want to do something?
I would make sure that the two of them are like safe first before I would like follow through with this action. Like I wouldn't want to leave the spot before I felt secure that the
Okay.
two of them are okay. So that would be the priority.
Okay. On a successful, then, like I'm sure you noticed, on a successful save, Branson, you were able to pull yourself away. Is there anything you would like to do then before Clem does anything?
Branson will like try to reach out a hand, like now that Ophestial's been like tethered, and just be like, "Grab hold!"
I will shove you forward. Save the captain.
All right.
On that shove action, do you resist first, Branson?
I would say Branson would be more surprised that he'd be pushed away, so I will not resist the shove.
Okay. On your next dexterity saving throw, you will have advantage.
Okie dokie.
I assume with a dex save of 2, I'm going overboard soon.
You will find out after your next dex save. Ophestial, you will not need to make one as you are grappled to the ground. Branson and Clem, please make me a dexterity saving throw.
You got it.
I would say at this point, Ophestial would also call out to Clem to at least grab onto him so he won't go overboard.
I feel like that is a perfect, if you'll allow it, a perfect rationale for that natural 20. As Ophestial, you reach out and you grab onto Clem.
I love the idea that Clem shoves the two of you, like Branson primarily trying to get you away, and Ophestial like grabs Clem, and that momentum is like Clem's shove with all the momentum is what sends the three of them forward.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Although Branson, that is technically considered a failure. I am gonna roll a cool this, and I'm gonna run around. I'm going to run with that idea because I like it. It is cinematically satisfying.
So the three of you find yourself. I'm gonna kind of move you one at a time. Ophestial, you don't really go anywhere because you're kind of locked in place. But for the sake of things, I'm gonna say Clem, you occupy that space.
And Branson, you are able to leave the room if you so choose.
Branson will actually wait and try to make sure that Ophestial at least gets out of the room first, but he'll try to, again, like, dig his axe into, like, the side wall to anchor him as he, like, waits for them to be unchained. Just basically, like, scruff of the neck, pull them back towards Lena.
When they're ready to move forward, it looks like they've got the upper hand on the current situation. Lena will drop concentration on the cantrip.
Okay, you drop concentration, and Branson, you pull. Well, we'll say for flavor, you pull Ophestial forward.
Yep. Like, go, go, go!
And Ophestial, you may also leave the room if you so desire.
After being kind of manhandled out the door. Yeah, he'll stumble through and land very unceremoniously next to Lena.
Feel free to move your token there.
Are you all right? She'll reach out to help you get up.
Oh, yes, thank you. There's not any rope in here, perchance, that isn't completely rotted away. Or actually, he's gonna run up and investigate this net.
Yeah.
Does
we're
it
gonna
look
pause
solid?
you. Sure there. I will pause you really quickly. Branson and Clem. Branson, are you opting? Well, you just helped Ophestial. Are you opting to stay put?
Yeah, Branson will have done his use his action to have gotten Ophestial to safety, and at this point is just willing to make the roll straight to try to stay in there, and if anything, help Clem as well.
Okay. How do you want to help Clem?
At this point, since Branson's trying to secure himself as much as he can, like he said, he's got his axe in the wall for an anchor. He's just going to try to wrap his arm around, like, their forearm and just be like, "Don't let go!"
Do you allow it?
At this point, yes, I will allow it.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw. Clem with advantage, Branson normal.
Will do.
14.
14 as well.
14, you both succeed, as both of you are now able to leave the room.
Bad idea, don't go in there.
I was about to say, I don't think this ship's mist heard your prayer.
I have theories about what it was trying to do. My theory resides in that I think that the ship is probably worse than overboard.
To that point, that net
Is relatively in good condition. However, it is covered in that
gross, mushy greenery.
Hearing their voices kind of forgets about the net, and runs back over to make sure they're all okay. I think we've seen all we need to see here. We should probably leave.
Is it as you wish, Captain? Before we go, I'm gonna hold out my arm and I'm gonna call Omen over.
It's going to take a minute, but they are on their way. Rosvan, peering over to you for a minute. I'm so sorry. What have you been doing this entire time?
As he didn't hear or see any of that, he's just going to be kind of waiting at the deck, looking at the sky, worried about the storm, and I suppose just managing the lifeboat. Hello?
Did we lose Saris?
Oh, I was muted. I'm so sorry. I responded to you. What I said was, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
13.
13. You watch as the boat sort of bobs in the water. And you do see still, although it's a lot more difficult than it was before to see the silhouette of your boat, you see the silhouette of a raven leave the crow's nest of your ship, then vanish temporarily in the mist.
Rosvan will get back into the lifeboat and kind of wait for the rest of his crew.
Lena would head over to board the boat with Rosvan.
Okay. Are you all just hopping in then?
There weren't any other entrance points here, were there?
There were.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure there is like an entire lower deck, which is the intention for bringing, like above game. That's the intention of bringing Omen over here. So I'm gonna have Omen while we're like leaving. I'm gonna have Omen go to the deck.
Okay, Lena would get on the boat. Lena would definitely want to check out the lower decks.
If Lena's going to stay on board, Branson will stay on board to try to make sure that buddy system.
Okay. Are you communicating this with each other?
Yeah, just be like, oh yeah, go ahead.
I'll stick around up top so we can investigate the lower decks. Might be a good idea. Could be something here. Especially considering what just happened in there.
Well, if you're going to stay behind, then we should at least have someone with magic to stay with you for support. He just shrugs and he's just like, and I guess he'll just gesture towards you to start like investigating the lower decks.
So, just so that I understand correctly, Omen is on the way over. Are you leaving? Are you staying? Who is leaving? Who is staying? How are we splitting the party? How are we doing this?
So, I was under the understanding that Ophestial ordered us to get off the ship as we're like, okay, we're done here, that kind of thing. So, my intention was like to kind of like, escort and or like usher people to the lifeboat near Razvan and investigate the lower decks with Omen.
So
Yeah.
I don't like to peek the curtain back too much. But what I'm going to say is that there will be potentially pretty bad consequences if you choose to just leave Omen aboard the ship and all of you leave.
That is potentially like, I mean, that's not ideal. Would I not have the normal familiar abilities?
Above game, because of the mists and what is happening here, you would lose contact with your familiar.
Got it. So I could not see through the familiar, I could not desummon the familiar, I could not use the familiar's abilities in those ways.
Correct.
Okay. In which case, if I can sense that like the connection between me and Omen
it's like super flickery right now, because even I tried to hint at it, but like Razvan watched Omen try to come towards you and then not be able to be visibly spotted in the mists. So you can feel that connection being pretty darn spotty in the moment, so to speak.
In that case, would I know if it would still function if I am on the ship? Like, is there a radius? Or is that something I wouldn't even know yet because he hasn't arrived?
You wouldn't necessarily know it yet, but I'm telling you so that you don't make decisions that you regret. If you stayed on the ship, there's a higher probability that you will be able to stay in contact.
The ship is of the dead. Let us get moving, unless we wish to join them.
We can get on the boat. I am curious what happened to the crew, and I wanted to check the lower deck with Omen, but with the mists being as thick as they are, I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to contact Omen while we were on the other ship. May I request that we board the ship and get ready to leave, but hesitate while I check the lower decks? Or do you... And I look at Ophestial. Or what are your orders, Captain? Your say is final.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to uncover much more here than just more danger. I don't want to put Omen at danger. I don't want to put you in danger. If you insist on checking, we can, and we can wait at standby, but I don't think it's a good idea.
As you wish, Captain.
So, are all of you getting on the rowboat?
I think we're just leaving then.
Yep. Okay.
The 5 of you hop onto your rowboat.
And who is I'm not going to ask for rowing checks, but who is directing like navigation?
Rossman would have been at the ready and just probably on the oars, so that as soon as the last person gets on, you can just start going.
Okay. Roll me a survival check.
21.
You are able to relatively easily return to your ship, and the 5 of you reconvene aboard the Wayfaring Stranger. You see, as you arrive, I'm going to sort of readjust a little bit, putting you all kind of down here. You watch as there is... give me just a second to adjust things. You see the humanoid version of Juji actually standing at the helm. Not really touching it, just like kind of looking at it. Oh, there you are. I expected you to be a little longer. Everything okay?
Is Sasha still aboard?
They're downstairs, yes.
Oh, sorry, that was above game. I didn't know if we saw.
My bad. With the way that you were far away from your mic, I was like, okay, but no, they would. I'll amend that and say,
The young human is downstairs.
Well, Clem, Captain, want to wait here for the mist to pass or continue to move forward?
Clem is just staring off towards where the ship was and almost doesn't respond, like as if they didn't hear you.
the ship is still there. It's just much, much, much harder to see as the fog has grown even thicker.
They have like almost a concerned look on their face. But yeah, they wouldn't respond as if they didn't hear. So it would be Ophestial.
Rosvan, let's try to take it as far from the mist as we can right now.
Oh,
I knew it.
I know as we're going to be able to do that. There's mist everywhere as far as the eye can see. We may just want to wait it out and see what things are like when it is clearer.
And it seems, Captain, we are once again at the mercy of the mists.
All right. Wait, we shall.
Do you lay anchor?
I think we were already anchored because we left the ship.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
My bad. My bad.
Then I should say, do you keep anchor down?
Yes.
And as the 5 of you, now 6 of you, sort of regroup and figure out what your next steps are going to be, unless there's anything anyone else wants to do, I think this is where we will end tonight's session.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for running.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for playing. Thank you for being here. Good session, y'all.
It has been a good time.
Oh, scary ghost ship.
Scary ghost ship.
Call
Always
it
nice
a
getting
ship.
to play.
Now we get to add nautical horror to the hashtags.
Gotta hit all the subgenres.
Nautical horror be something you wish.
I mean, we're already, like, at least on par with all of the Resident Evils that happened on boats. But yeah, do we want to start going around the horn while I find somebody for us to raid into?
Sure.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Hello. I'm Saris. You can find me all over the internet at TixDixhole. Lots of con crunch. You can also find me hanging out on other people's streams on Monday, on Fridays, and on every other Saturdays. You can see me at this channel. You can see me in other people's channels doing more D&D and playing some really fun games with friends. That's pretty much all I got going on. So I'm going to pass the talking skull to Zan.
That's me, wrestling with a cat. Give me a second. Get over there.
I understand.
You can catch me a bunch of places. Check my blue sky at Xanos Grim if you want to see what I'm up to, because I'm in a lot of streams for spooky season. I've got other stuff cooking, but I can't really talk about it till next week, so I will gently hand the skull over to Kaz.
Hi, I'm Kaz. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Catastrophe. I am deep in Con Crunch, and we may resurface once it is over. But yeah, KomoriCon is coming up, so expect lots of fun con shenanigans. Especially because Sarah's will be in my neck of the woods, so we get to suffer together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for me. So I'm gonna gently nudge the skull over to Leah.
Hi, I'm gonna take it and start dribbling the skull aggressively. I'm Leah. I'm doing this here every other Sunday. I'm not sorry. I am going to be doing some Undertale tomorrow with friends. I'm gonna be doing some. Oh, no TTRPG this Thursday. I got something else I'm doing prep work for. So maybe you'll get to see that stuff soon. But Friday, back at it with Cosmos Guide to the Cosmos on Distortion Devil's channel. I am very thankful for my players. I have a great group. And that's really it for me right now. So you can find me those places if you want to find me. And otherwise, I'm going to... Zan, have you gone? Yeah, you just went. Did you just go?
It's just Skelly now.
Yeah, it's just Skelly now. I thought so. Skelly, whoop, whoop. Finish the dribble.
Look out,
lay up.
Ow! Okay. Hi, I'm Skelly Alpha. I can be found under Twitch and Blue Sky under the same names. Not a whole lot going on besides just streaming a whole bunch of like crafty survival types like Vintage Story and Minecraft while I hunt for other tabletop games to fill some gaps and stuff. But on Thursday you can catch me on my channel where I run a Paper Mario setting D&D game with some friends. And other than that, look forward to a Silent Hill 2 remake playthrough coming in the near future on the channel for Halloween. Other than that, I stream just about every day these days. Yeah, I'll pass it over to Vaughn now.
Hi, I'm the skeleton who does far less streaming than that. But you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky, Burnout Vaughn, over on Patreon, Burnout's Bar. This coming week, we've got Deltarune over on Leah's channel, and No Love War Extra coming up on this Saturday, where we don't actually know what we're going to do after Fate Extra, so we should probably have a talk about that. But look forward to that because, well, this is actually going to be the first time I've ever actually experienced a Fate ending, like, completely, like, blind. So this will be interesting. But with that out of the way, since they're online, why don't we raid Distortion Devil? What should our raid message be?
Tunnel snakes rule.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you all for
Because
coming
we're the
out.
tunnel snakes. And we
That's
rule.
us. And we rule.
All right. Thank you all for coming out. We'll see you again sometime soon. Enjoy your holidays. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Very well.